Chapter 99. Chiwa Town, Long Family. Wan Yuyin received the Millennium Thunder Fruit that Longao sent over. On the third day, she had already woken up. Seeing Yuyin wake up, everyone was pleasantly surprised. But at this time, a mysterious and powerful expert appeared in the Long family. A gray-haired old woman with a walking stick, her face was full of wrinkles. She swayed as she walked, as if a gust of wind could blow her away. Seeing the old woman, Yiyin's face lit up. She bowed and said, "Master." "Humph, you still know that I'm your master?" "Master." Yuyin was submissive. Wan Yuyin had always been afraid of this mysterious and powerful master. Especially last time, she didn't leave with her master. The old woman's face was cold. She coldly snorted and said, "I don't know what's so good about that stinking brat that you actually gave up on the cultivation method that you've been cultivating for 10 years. Master, I'm sorry." After a deep sigh, the old woman suddenly said, "I already know about your matter. Since this child is loyal, I'll let him go for now. Yuyin, the main reason why I came here is to prepare to take you away from Chiwa Town." Wan Yuyin was shocked. She had never thought of leaving Chiwa Town, leaving Longao. Seeing Yuyin hesitate, the old woman heavily snorted and said, "Yuyin, if you don't come with me and are still as willful as last time, I'll immediately kill Longao." "Master, don't. I'll ask you one last time. Are you coming with me or not?" Wan Yuyin was very clear in her heart that her master was definitely a person who would do what he said. If she didn't agree, her master would really kill Longao. Helpless, Yuyin nodded and agreed. "Master, I'll go with you. But you must promise me that no matter what, I won't continue to cultivate that cultivation method. For that stinking brat? I once promised him. Thus, even if I die, I will not cultivate again. Master, please forgive me." "All right, but Yuyin, this time when you leave with me, you are not allowed to return for at least 3 years, or at most 10 years. But you can rest assured that this time, I will bring you to a place. When you see Longao again, you will have stepped into the ranks of the top experts." Woodenly nodding her head, Yuyin had no interest in the top masters at all. She said, "Thank you, master. Let's go." "Master, I want to write a letter to Longao." "No, I will tell the Long family about this. Let's go." Regardless of whether Wan Yuyin was willing or not, the old granny pulled Wan Yuyin's hand and disappeared without a trace. In the next moment, the head of the Long family, Long Haosher, received the news that Yuyin had been taken away by a mysterious expert. Although he was extremely unwilling in his heart, he was powerless to do anything. Not to mention whether or not this mysterious expert was Wang Yiyin's master, just his strength alone was not something the Long family could compare to. Thunder Forest, inside the mysterious cave. Being constantly attacked by the circular wheel, Longao finally had no choice but to bring Aoshua to crash into the pattern on the wall. Aoshua was so scared that she did not know what was going on. Could it be that this stinking brat was being chased until he became stupid? Just when Aoshua thought that the two of them would be smashed into smithereens, the scene of the god equipment appeared. Not only did the two of them not smash into the wall, they even flashed past it and instantly disappeared into the wall. "Stinking brat, what happened?" Instead of crashing into the wall, Aoshua suddenly opened her eyes with a face full of surprise. This was because they had already passed through the wall and arrived in a stone room. There was a bed, a table, and a chair. Especially the pattern hanging on the wall, it was particularly eye-catching. "Endless blood sea pattern?" Before Longao could answer, Aoshua suddenly saw the pattern hanging on the wall. She quickly flew towards the wall, but Longao pulled her back. His voice was very serious as he said, "Aoshua, calm down. Stinking brat, why did you stop me?" Aoshua was very excited. She had not sensed any of the 12 patterns before, and now the endless blood sea pattern was right in front of her. Was she going to give up so easily? "Aoshua, if I am not mistaken, this endless blood sea pattern must have offensive powers. Look." Longao took out a gold coin and threw it at the endless blood sea map on the wall. Before it touched the map, It was shot by the endless blood sea map. The gold coin turned into nothingness. Seeing this, Ao Shui was shocked. She finally knew why Long Ao had stopped her. Ao Shui, try and see if your blood can communicate with this endless blood sea pattern. Ao Shui nodded. Of course, she knew what Long Ao meant. She stopped 2 meters away from the endless blood sea pattern and took a deep breath. Then, the blood in her body boiled as she tried to communicate with the endless blood sea pattern. In just a few seconds, Ao Shui's face was full of joy. She nodded and said excitedly, "My blood can sense the call of the endless blood sea pattern. This is great, this is great." Communicated? Long Ao did not feel the slightest bit excited. He did not know why, but he felt that this was a bit strange. Was the endless blood sea pattern just outside? If that was the case, did it not mean that any personal disciple of the Ghost King sect who came in could get the endless blood sea map? Long Ao felt that this was not so simple. But since things had come to this point, Long Ao did not say anything. Just like that, Ao Shui successfully communicated with the endless blood sea pattern. Then, she was about to reach out and take the endless blood sea pattern. But at this moment, several red lights suddenly shot out from the endless blood sea pattern. They were so fast that Ao Shui did not even have time to react. But at this moment, a figure suddenly appeared in front of Ao Shui. He was hit by several red lights and spat out blood. His whole body flew backward. Ao Shui was shocked. She hurriedly chased after him and caught Long Ao in midair. "Why did you do this?" At this moment, Ao Shui was completely moved. She never thought that Long Ao would risk his life to save her, and almost lose his life. Long Ao was shot by several blood rays. Long Ao was very weak, but his face was very firm. He said, "No matter if you are willing or not, I will still say the same thing. I will be responsible. From now on, you are my Long Ao's woman. No matter what, I will stand in front of you, even if we meet with life and death." Hearing this, Ao Shui stared at Long Ao, who was lying in her arms. Suddenly, Ao Shui began to cry loudly. Women were emotional creatures. No matter how strong she was, Ao Shui was still a woman. Chapter 100. Heroes have a weakness for beauties. On the other hand, beauties sometimes have a weakness for heroes as well. For a man who would die for her and take away her virginity, what else could she do? Sitting up with difficulty, Long Ao shrugged helplessly and said, "Ao Shui, you're too reckless. The endless blood sea map is not as simple as it looks." Nodding, Ao Shui's attitude had unknowingly undergone a drastic change. Even Ao Shui herself did not notice it. She said, "I know. Just now, my bloodline communicated with the pattern. I thought I could get the endless blood sea map, but I didn't expect it." Ao Shui did not continue speaking. There was a trace of fear in her eyes. "Brat, what should I do?" She was still a brat. Perhaps in Ao Shui's eyes the words brat represented a different meaning. Long Ao did not think too much about it. After resting for a while, he felt much better. He stood up and did not dare to approach the endless blood sea map on the wall. He began to observe the treasure of the Ghost King sect from afar. Until now, Long Ao still could not figure out why Ao Shui's bloodline had communicated with the pattern but was still attacked by the endless blood sea map. Just now, when he tried to resist, Long Ao was shocked to find that with his current strength, he could not resist the blood light at all. "Ao Shui, is there any legend about the endless blood sea map that you have not noticed?" After thinking for a while, Ao Shui of course understood the meaning of Long Ao's words. She said, "According to the rumors in the sect, the endless blood sea map left by the ancestor is a combination of the bloodlines of millions of people. It is the most vicious and vicious weapon." Before Ao Shui finished speaking, Long Ao waved his hand and said, "I know what's going on." Ao Shui's face lit up. She asked impatiently, "What's going on?" "The endless blood sea map on the wall should be a taboo set by the ancestor of the Ghost King sect. Even with the bloodline communication, it is not easy to get the endless blood sea map." Creak, 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 Suddenly, Longao heard the little guy in his arms squeaking. He was very curious, because under normal circumstances, Long Chang would not squeak. Could it be that something had happened? Longao didn't hide anything from Aoshue. He carried the Long Chang out of his arms and listened to the Long Chang's incessant squeaking. At the same time, he communicated with Long Fu. He wanted to ask Long Fu what the Long Chang's incessant squeaking meant. Little snake? A little snake that could squeak? Surprised, Aoshue looked at the little snake in Longao's arms and asked curiously, Brat, what is this? Dragon whelp? Dragon cub? Aoshue obviously didn't believe it. But seeing that Longao didn't seem to be joking, she asked in surprise, Brat, is this really a dragon whelp? Aoshue had never seen such a special colossal dragon infant before. She seemed to have thought of something and had an expression of sudden realization. She said, I nearly forgot. You are a disciple of the Dragon Clan's branch. You can become a dragon cultivator. Long family was one of the strongest powers in the Tianwu continent. Especially dragon warriors, they were one of the most terrifying powers in the world. Longao, as far as I know, the Long family has countless branches and is divided into 9 ranks. Only those of the 3rd rank and above can enter the Dragon Valley to choose a partner and become a dragon warrior. And the probability is 1 in 10,000. You are only a 6th rank disciple. How is it possible? Longao smiled. He naturally understood what Aoshue meant. Wait a moment. Longao didn't have time to care about Aoshue. Through Long Fu's words, he already knew what Long Chang wanted. She wanted to absorb the power of the endless blood sea diagram. What was going on? Aoshue, I want to discuss something with you. This little thing wants to absorb the power of the endless blood sea diagram. No, there is no room for discussion. Aoshue did not even think about it and directly refused. Longao wasn't surprised by Aoshue's refusal. No matter what, the endless blood sea diagram was the treasure of the Ghost King sect. It would be strange if Aoshue agreed. But Longao really couldn't bear to refuse her request. On one side was Xiao Chang, and on the other was his woman. How should he choose? Brat, can it really absorb the power of the endless blood sea diagram? Longao nodded. In fact, he didn't know whether the little thing could absorb it or not. But since Long Chang said so, it shouldn't be wrong. Aoshue thought for a while, and finally said, You can let it try. If it can, I choose to compromise. Aoshue. Without giving Longao any chance to speak, Aoshue said, Forget it. With my strength, I can't take away the endless blood sea diagram. What's more, whether we can leave alive is still unknown. Instead of staying here for nothing, let it take advantage of us. Longao was not a fool. Of course, he knew that Aoshue chose to compromise mainly for his sake. Although she didn't say it explicitly, her actions had already shown everything. Xiao Chang, don't be reckless. Do what you can. After putting Long Chang on the ground, a shadow flashed, and the little thing's body disappeared on the spot, shooting toward the endless blood sea diagram. Just as Longao and Aoshue looked on in shock, Long Chang's body was already lying on the diagram. The endless blood sea diagram didn't attack Long Chang? Both Longao and Aoshue were extremely shocked. This was because they had seen with their own eyes how terrifying the power of the bloody light shot out by the endless blood sea diagram was. The two, who didn't have confidence, didn't know how to feel when they saw the little thing ignore the diagram. Comparisons were odious. Chapter 101. It grew. Looking at Xiao Chang, who had been absorbing the endless blood sea map for an hour, Longao seemed to be a little surprised. Sure enough, Long Chang, who was originally in the form of a small snake, began to grow thick black dragon scales at this moment, almost the same as the fire dragon that Long Mao had obtained. Sure enough, Xiao Chang was really a mutant divine dragon, but before the transformation, it was just like a small snake, but now, the small snake had transformed into a small dragon, and Longao was really looking forward to seeing how powerful Xiao Chang was after the transformation. Brat, what is the origin of this little thing of yours? How could Longao not know the meaning of Ao Shue's words? Not to mention her, even he himself did not know the origin of this little fellow. However, there was one thing that Longao was very sure of. The origin of this little fellow that he had obtained was definitely not simple. Before Longao could speak, the transformed Long Chang suddenly let out a dragon's roar that resounded through the stone room. Then, a powerful dragon's breath emanated from Long Chang's body, directly shrouding the entire stone room. What a terrifying power! Longao also sensed how powerful the aura that Long Chang was emitting now was. Long Fu had already said before that Long Chang's physique was almost exactly the same as his, which was the desolate physique. This physique was very powerful, but it required a lot of power. If it was cultivated under normal circumstances, the desolate physique would definitely be the first useless physique, and he was a living example. However, Longao was very clear that the power contained in the Endless Blood Sea map, the treasure of the Ghost King sect, was definitely no small matter. Otherwise, Long Chang would not have been able to transform into this after only absorbing it for an hour. For some reason, Longao had a feeling that this little guy's strength seemed to have surpassed his at this moment. Once again letting out a loud dragon's roar, the little guy's body grew bigger and bigger. After 3 roars, from the previous small snake shape, it had transformed into a small dragon more than 2 meters long. Its whole body was pure black, and there were small spots of light. Long Chang was not much different from an ordinary dragon, but there was one difference, and that was that Long Chang had a single horn on its forehead, which looked extremely strange. At the same time that the dragon's roar sounded, Long Chang had returned to Longao's arms, but now Long Chang's body was 2 meters long, and it was impossible for it to continue resting in Longao's arms. However, what made Longao feel incomparably shocked was that Long Chang, who had already transformed into a 2-meter-long giant dragon, suddenly shrank his body. In the blink of an eye, he had already returned to his previous appearance. After putting Long Chang in his arms, Longao looked at the Endless Blood Sea map hanging on the stone wall. There was no need to touch it. Longao already knew that at this moment, the Endless Blood Sea map had become a useless map, and it was no longer the powerful super weapon it used to be. Ao Xue, I'm sorry. Longao felt a little guilty. No matter what, the Endless Blood Sea map was the treasure of the Ghost King sect, but now it had been completely absorbed by Long Chang. Humph, it's the same for the big one, and it's the same for the small one. Longao shrugged helplessly. Things had already come to this point. Longao did not continue to be entangled in this matter because the most important thing now was to think of all kinds of ways to leave this place. Before Longao could speak, Ao Xue had already asked, "What should we do now?" "Of course we have to find the exit. You look, I'm going to rest." Seeing Ao Xue sitting cross-legged on the bed and began to rest, Longao was depressed. He had no choice but to turn around and look for the exit. Longao did not look for the exit blindly. He went directly to the Endless Blood Sea map and stared at it. The Endless Blood Sea map is useless. It's useless to look at it again. Ignoring Ao Xue, Longao stretched out his hand and took down the Endless Blood Sea map that had been scrapped. As expected, a black passageway that was neither big nor small appeared behind the map. "Ao Xue, I'm leaving now." Ao Xue had already opened her eyes. She did not give Longao a chance at all. She shot out and came to the black passage, and without thinking, she went in. Looking at the disappearing buttocks, Longao smiled. Ao Xue looked unreasonable, but she was actually a very cute girl. The two entered the black passage, one in front and one behind. They walked forward step by step. The black passage was so dark that they could not see their fingers in front of them. At first glance, it was really scary and strange. "Humph, stinking brat, are you a man or not? You let a girl walk in front, but you walk behind. I despise you." Longao, who was walking carefully with full concentration, almost stumbled when he heard Ao Xue's complaint. He looked at Ao Xue in a daze, not knowing what to say for a moment. Who did he offend? Turning her head to take a look, Ao Shui suddenly laughed out loud. She said with a smile, "Stinky brat, let me tell you this. You are not allowed to spread what happened today. Otherwise, I will not let you off. I wouldn't dare." Suddenly, a ray of light appeared in the black passage. The two were overjoyed and quickened their steps. After a while, the two successfully left the black passage and appeared in the forest. Thunder Forest. Longao was completely sure that the two of them had successfully left the cave. However, when they turned their heads to look at the black passage, they found that the passage had disappeared. How mysterious! Longao smiled and said, "There are about 5 days until the Thunder Battle. I'm going to participate in the Thunder Battle. What about you?" The Thunder Battle would last for 10 days. Longao calculated the time and found that the two of them had been in the cave for more than 4 days. Half of the Thunder Battle had passed. Therefore, in the next 5 days, Longao was going to get the Spirit Token. No matter what, he had to be in the top 3 of the Thunder Battle. Aoshua thought for a while, and her voice suddenly turned cold. She said, "Who are you to me? What right do you have to control me? You're really interesting. Stinking brat, I'll tell you again. Don't tell anyone about what happened today. Otherwise, I'll kill you. Stinking brat." Before she left, Aoshua did not forget to scold him. Longao stood there dumbfounded. He did not know what was wrong with Aoshua. She seemed to change every now and then. When was Aoshua's true face? "A woman's heart is like a needle at the bottom of the ocean." Longao sighed helplessly. He did not chase after Aoshua because he knew that he was not qualified to talk about love now. The first thing he had to do was to stand out in the Thunder Battle and obtain more spirit tokens. According to Lu Feng and Hao Chao, as long as he could get a good ranking in the Thunder Battle, even the Thunder Royal family would not do anything to him. More importantly, they would not do anything to the Long family behind him. Chapter 102. He had a head of white hair and was dressed in black. His resolute face was filled with vicissitudes of life. Longao left the cave and dashed through the Thunder Forest. Whenever he saw a target, he would not show any mercy. He would immediately kill them and snatch their soul tokens. Pun! Just as Longao was about to rest, he suddenly sensed an earth-shattering sound coming from the front. Out of curiosity, he immediately dashed over. Kwangao was surrounded by 3 people and was already covered in wounds. His face was pale and his body was on the verge of collapsing. It was unknown when he would collapse. "Kwangao, I'm here to help you." Longao truly treated Kwangao as a friend. Seeing his friend in trouble, how could he not help? Before Longao arrived, the horrifying saber light had already arrived. The 3 were forced back by Longao's saber light. They did not continue their attack and chose to stop. "Brother Long, many thanks." Domineering arrogance endured his wobbly body and held on, not falling to the ground. Seeing Kwangao in such a state, Longao's face turned extremely gloomy. He looked at the 3 people before him and asked, "Who are you 3? How dare you injure my friend? And who are you? Evolved cultivator?" Sensing that this youth was actually an evolved cultivator, the 3 of them were shocked. However, Yi Bing and the other 2 did not think much of him. They said coldly, "Thunder Nation Guardian Halls Yi Bing, Du Jianhao, and Du Jianhao." Thunder Nation Guardian Hall? Hearing their identities, Longao was also shocked. After all, he did not get along well with the 3rd prince of the Thunder Royal family. "Brat, who are you?" "Scarlet Fire Town's Longao." "Scarlet Fire Town's Longao?" Hearing Longao's self-introduction, the 3 of them had strange expressions. Yi Bing suddenly smiled coldly and said, "So you are Longao. We have been searching high and low for you. Brat, are you going to kill yourself or do you want me to help you? Are the 3 of you out of your minds?" Longao had already guessed that these 3 people were related to the 3rd prince, Zhao Hao. It seemed that Zhao Hao would not let him off. Trouble had already arrived. "Longao, Do you really think you can leave the Thunder Forest alive after offending the third prince? Humph! Longao, don't say I didn't warn you. Not only did the third prince issue a kill order for you in the Thunderbolt Kingdom Defender Hall, but all of the Kingdom Defender Halls in the 32 kingdoms. Do you really think you can avoid that? Kill order? Longao did not doubt Zhao Hao's words at all. After all, Zhao Hao was the third prince of the Thunder Empire. The 32 kingdoms were all vassal states of the Thunder Empire. If Zhao Hao issued a kill order to him, would the members of the National Guard Hall of the 32 kingdoms refuse? If it was just Zhao Hao alone, no one would bother with him. However, the problem was that Zhao Hao had used the Thunder Empire's name to issue a kill order. Even if the 32 kingdoms were unwilling, they definitely wouldn't offend the Thunder Empire because of this. The total number of people in the 32 kingdoms plus the Thunder Empire had reached more than 300 people, which was the so-called 300 plus Xiantian realm martial artists. Zhao Hao really thought highly of him. An ordinary person would not be able to withstand such a kill order. But would Longao be afraid? With a cold snort, Longao said indifferently, I don't care about the kill order. I only know that you have injured my friend. You will all die. It had to be said that domineering arrogant's strength was indeed formidable. In just 5 days in the Thunder Forest, he had broken through to the fusion realm from the one-line sky peak. He could even fight 1 against 3 for such a long time. Ha ha, with just you! Hearing Longao's words, it was as if they had heard the funniest joke in the world. The 3 of them laughed crazily. At this time, the 3 of them attacked at the same time. They were all evolved martial artists, and the National Guard of the Thunder National Guard Hall. The 3 of them were usually aloof, and did not put Longao in their eyes. It was precisely because of their arrogance that the battle was affected. In order to end the battle quickly, Longao used the soul-subduing seal as soon as he attacked. Then, the wild blood saber in his hand fiercely slashed out. Yellow Spring's 9 strikes and Frozen Heart Devourer instantly superimposed, and a terrifying saber light ruthlessly chopped down. After evolving to the peak, the power of the soul-subduing seal increased again. It silently invaded the bodies of the 3. Before the 3 of them could react, the soul-subduing seal had already begun to corrode their souls. Shocked, the 3 of them immediately began to circulate their powers to resist this mysterious and strange power. However, it was precisely because of this that when the terrifying saber light slashed down, the 3 of them did not even have the chance to retaliate before they were killed with a single slash. Killing 3 evolved warriors with a single slash? Swallowing his saliva fiercely, Longgao's face was filled with shock. He never thought that Longgao's strength would be so strong that he could actually kill 3 evolved warriors with a single slash. What kind of concept was this? Longao clearly knew that with Longgao's current strength, there was almost no one below the fusion realm who could be a match for him. Didn't this mean that Longao was the strongest person below the fusion realm? Brother Long, you're too strong. Longao only smiled. He had obtained 10 soul tokens from the 3 of them. Other than the soul tokens that belonged to the 3 of them, the remaining 7 soul tokens should be the soul tokens that the 3 of them obtained from killing other warriors. Brother Long, what the 3 of them said just now is not false. I have also received news that the 3rd Prince of the Thunder Empire, Zhao Hao, has issued a kill order for you. Not only the Thunder Empire, but also all the warriors in the other 32 kingdoms will want to kill you. It is said that as long as one obtains your head, Zhao Hao will give a great reward. With a smile, Longao chose to ignore the kill order. Longao, I already know about this matter. Regardless of whether Zhao Hao gave the order to kill or not, to me, it only means one thing. No matter who offends me, they will have to pay the price, including the 3rd Prince, Zhao Hao. Longao understood Brother Long's domineering character and forceful nature very well. Because of this, he did not say much. After thinking for a while, Longao said, Brother Long, I am also participating in the Thunder battle this time. I knew that I would definitely meet you. We are fated to meet. Yes, we are fated to meet. Brother Long, since we have met, why don't we participate in the thunder battle together? Waving his hand, Longao naturally would not agree. This did not mean that he was unwilling to participate in the thunder battle together with Kuang Ao. After all, Kuang Ao and Hao Chao's position in his heart was not ordinary. The reason why Longao did not agree was very simple. It was because Zhao Hao had issued a kill order for him. If Kuang Ao really participated in the thunder battle together with him, wouldn't Kuang Ao be killed everywhere? As a friend, he would definitely not do that. This was a friend. Chapter 103. For domineering arrogance safety, Longao refused directly. Brother Long, don't you treat me as a friend? Shaking his head, Longao didn't tell the truth. Instead, he said, Domineering arrogant, I like to act alone, so I'm sorry. No matter what, Zhao Hao had already given the order to kill him. The Thunder Empire and the nearly 300 Xiantian martial artists from the 32 kingdoms would all come to kill him. If egotistical were to stay with him, wouldn't he be like a fish in the moat that would be implicated? Looking at Longao, who had disappeared, domineering arrogant said to himself, I must be friends with such a person. Shortly after leaving, Longao met some old acquaintances, several people from the Nebula Guardian Hall: Luo Qing, Mao Feng, Tong Bo, Hao Jiangjun, Yirong, Lin Yi, and Wang Huan. Enemies were bound to meet on a narrow road. Longao? Get lost! Longao was too lazy to care about these 7 people. He had already left the Guardian Hall. He didn't want to have any relationship with these 7 people at all. If it weren't for Ouyang Fei, not only Yu Wei, but even these 7 people wouldn't give up easily. Luo Qing snorted coldly and said in an extremely unpleasant tone, Longao, the Thunder Empire has issued a kill order for you. If we can kill you, we will get a lot of things. When did the Nebula Guardian Hall become the Thunder Empire's henchmen? Ha ha, Longao, our Nebula royal family is originally a vassal kingdom of the Thunder Empire. Since the Thunder Empire issued a kill order, we have to execute it. What do you think? Longao understood that Luo Qing and the others were here to kill him. There was no need to guess at all. If there was no accident, when the third Prince Zhao Hao issued a kill order, the reward was quite considerable. Cut the crap. If you want to fight, let's fight. Longao, I have to admit that you are also a top figure, but you don't know what's good for you, so you are destined to die. Luo Qing waved his hand. Immediately after, the 6 of them swarmed forward. The combined might of 6 evolvers was no small matter. Even if one's cultivation had already broken through to the peak of the evolver realm, it was still not an easy task to kill 6 people in a short period of time. Not to mention, there was also a fusion expert on the side. Once he was held back, the result would be very troublesome. Immediately after, both sides rushed out. In the blink of an eye, both sides were already engaged in a fierce battle. After 3 moves, Longao's blood-sucking blade had already slashed out fiercely. Longao's cultivation had already broken through the peak evolution realm, and his strength was no longer the same as before. But no matter how it was said, the 6 of them were still evolved martial artists. At the same time that the soul-subduing seal was used, Longao grasped blood-drinking wild saber and slashed out with the 3rd move of blood-drinking's 8 moves, Raging Flame Sea. The 8 styles of blood-drinking. The first style was Yellow Spring's 9 consecutive strikes. The second style was Heart-Devouring Ice. The third style was Raging Flame Sea. Ever since his cultivation had broken through to the evolution boundary, Longao had been secretly cultivating the 3rd style of the blood-drinking 8 styles, Raging Flame Sea. Now it just so happened to come in handy. At the same time, the raging sea of flames and the shocking saber light instantly turned into countless blood rays, like a sea of blood, rolling over each other. The 6 of them were using all their strength to resist the soul-subduing seal's erosion of their souls. They did not expect Longao to use such a powerful move. Endless sea of blood, Raging Flame Sea. The Raging Flame Sea covered the sky and suppressed the earth, instantly enveloping the 6 of them. Then, one after another, miserable screams rose and fell, and the 6 of them fell down. Longao naturally would not have any mercy. He came in front of the 6 of them and took away all the soul orders on their bodies. Then, he stored their souls into the dragon seal space. No matter what, the 6 of them were evolved martial artists. Once their souls were refined by the blood pool, they could be refined into powerful soul slaves. At that time, he would also have a good helper. As for the one-line heavenly soul slaves that he had refined before, they had already been put into the blood pool to be refined again. Longao, I will tear you to pieces. Seeing the other party kill the 6 of them in one move, Luoqing was shocked. But what was the result? Longao did not choose to meet force with force with force. After smoothly killing the 6 of them, he immediately turned around and quickly left. In order to not be caught by Luoqing, he slashed out with his saber. Raging flames endless flames came out. Having seen the power of the other party's saber light with his own eyes, Luoqing did not dare to meet force with force. After dodging, he found that the other party had disappeared without a trace. Inside the Thunder Forest, in front of a secluded boulder, Longao had already told Long Fu to refine the souls of the 6 people into soul slaves at the fastest speed. Once the refining was successful, he would have 6 more bodyguards by his side. Flipping through the soul orders that he had obtained, Longao roughly counted. There were a total of 49 soul orders. According to the calculation of more than 400 people, he had obtained about 1/8 of the soul orders. He had full confidence that 5 days later, when the thunder battle ended, he would definitely be able to enter the top 3. Not continuing to seize the soul orders, Longao sat cross-legged on the ground and began to cultivate. His cultivation had already broken through to the peak of the evolution realm. He was only one step away from breaking through to the fusion realm. However, it was this one step that was exceptionally terrifying. Just like this, Longao cultivated while waiting for Long Fu to refine the soul slaves. In the blink of an eye, 4 days had passed. There was only 1 day left for the thunder battle. In other words, at noon tomorrow, the thunder battle would officially end. After 4 days of cultivation, Longao's cultivation still did not have the slightest progress. It seemed that his desolate saint body still needed a huge amount of power to continuously enter it. Otherwise, it would be extremely difficult to have a breakthrough. The only advantage of the desolate saint body was that once he broke through to the next realm, his strength would be much stronger than a martial artist of the same level. This was also the real reason why Longao had always been able to kill opponents of a higher level. Then, he stood up and stretched his body. Luoqing, I will give you a surprise. With a sneer, Longao's body had already rushed out. At this moment, the thunder battle had reached its most intense moment. Out of more than 400 people, less than 40 people had survived. They had lost a lot of time. No matter who survived this battle, there would only be one final winner, and that was the Thunder Empire. The Thunder Empire held the Thunder Battle to continuously weaken the members of the National Guard Hall of the 32 Kingdoms. The 32 Kingdoms were well aware of the Thunder Empire's conspiracy, but there was nothing they could do. The remaining 40 people all wanted to enter the top 10, especially the top 3. Therefore, the remaining day was also the most intense time of the battle. No matter what, those who could survive were all powerful Xiantian martial artists. Each of them had at least 10 soul orders on them. As long as they killed one person, they would be able to obtain more than 10 soul orders. This kind of thing, why not? Therefore, in the last remaining day, everyone became crazy. Chapter 104. Previously, when Longao left, he left a mark on Luoqing's body, so it was very easy to find Luoqing. Among the original 10 members of the Nebula Guardian Hall, except for Longao and Hao Chao, only Luoqing survived. If the Nebula Kingdom knew about this, the result would be obvious. It was precisely because of this that Longao was ready to eliminate the root of the problem and completely conceal this matter. In any case, Longao regarded Ouyang Fei as a friend, so he didn't want to completely fall out with the Nebula Kingdom unless it was a last resort. At this moment, Luo Qing could be said to be happy and sad. He was happy because he had participated in the Thunder Battle this time and obtained a total of 23 spirit tokens. He was sad because his few trusted subordinates had all been killed by Longao. Luo Qing, how have you been? Looking at the sudden appearance of Longao, Luo Qing's face was stunned, then he said with a gloomy smile. Longao, you really don't know what's good for you. It seems that you are really arrogant. With a sneer, Longao looked around and suddenly said with a smile. This is a good place. If I bury you here, it should be worthy of you. Ha! Hearing Longao's words, Luo Qing's face suddenly turned cold as if he had heard the funniest thing in the world. He said coldly, Longao, you are courting death. You can't blame others. With that said, Luo Qing's body had already rushed out. Before he arrived, his terrifying aura had already suppressed Yishiwen. As a fusion warrior, Luo Qing's strength was very powerful, especially when he attacked with all his strength. The terrifying spiritual power turned into a sword light and slashed down fiercely. But at this moment, 6 illusory figures suddenly appeared beside Longao. They were Mao Feng, Tong Bo, Hao Jiangjun, Yi Rong, Lin Yi, and Wang Huan, who had just been refined into soul slaves. Luo Qing, who had already attacked with all his strength, stopped abruptly when he saw the 6 illusory figures suddenly appear. His face was full of shock as if he didn't know what had happened. Luo Qing swallowed his saliva fiercely as if he had seen a ghost. Impossible, it's impossible. Luo Qing whispered, his eyes widened because he never thought that the 6 people who had died would be resurrected at this time. Did the 6 people betray him? Why aren't the 6 of you coming over? Do you want to rebel? The 6 people didn't react at all. Seeing this situation, Luo Qing was even more shocked. He didn't know what happened to the 6 people. Luo Qing, are you surprised? Longao, what trick did you use his trick? Not giving Luo Qing any chance to speak at all, Longao directly gave the order. 6 soul slaves swarmed forward together. The power of 6 evolved martial artists joining hands could be imagined. Luo Qing's Luo was Luo Qing's, and Luo Qing. Although Luo Qing was incomparably shocked, he did not hold back at all. Fighting 1 against 6, Luo Qing had already engaged in a fierce battle with the 6 soul slaves. In the blink of an eye, they had already fought for 10 rounds. There was no clear winner. Longao didn't stay idle and directly joined the battle. Longao wielded the wild blood-drinking saber, slash after slash, slash after slash, instantly using the first 3 moves of the 8 moves of blood drinking. The first move was Yellow Spring's 9 consecutive strikes, the second move was Ice Seal Devouring, and the third move was Raging Sea of Flames. The third move, Raging Sea of Flames, was very powerful. After the first 3 moves of blood drinking were overlaid, the power wasn't as simple as 1 + 1 = 2. Soul slaves. Until now, Longao still hadn't figured out what was going on with the soul slaves that Long Fu had refined. This was because from start to finish, Long Fu hadn't told him anything about soul slaves. Longao's understanding of soul slaves was very limited. First, soul slaves were much stronger than the main body. Second, soul slaves had an undying body. No matter how they were beaten, they couldn't be killed. Because of this, although the 6 soul slaves weren't as strong as Luo Qing, they relied on their undying bodies and were like moths to a flame. The more he fought, the more alarmed he became. Luo Qing discovered that the 6 people were simply undying. He already had thoughts of retreating. He knew very well that although he was stronger than the 6 of them, the 6 of them had an undying body. If this continued, would he be able to take advantage of them? If Luo Qing wanted to leave, would Longao agree? With the help of the 6 soul slaves, Longao didn't show the slightest mercy. While Luo Qing was focused on dealing with the 6 soul slaves, Longao silently used the soul-suppressing seal. The soul-suppressing seal was a perfect hit. There was not a single time where it failed. This time was no exception. The soul-suppressing seal quietly invaded Luo Qing's body and began to erode his soul. Under normal circumstances, Luo Qing would definitely be able to drive away this soul-eroding power. However, the current situation was completely different. Longao simply wouldn't give Luo Qing any chance. Each move was stronger than the previous one. Each move was vicious. Luo Qing's soul was being eroded by the soul-suppressing seal. Outside, he was being tightly entangled by the 6 soul slaves. Longao grasped this rare opportunity. The bloodthirsty broadsword in his hand had already fiercely chopped out. With an inconceivable angle, the bloodthirsty broadsword accurately chopped out from the waist, cutting Luo Qing in half. This is impossible. Impossible. Until the moment of his death, Luo Qing still couldn't figure out why the 6 people who were already dead were actually alive and standing in front of him. Moreover, they were helping Longao kill him. This world was just as fair. It wouldn't give you a chance to regret. Longao came in front of Luo Qing and said in a very cold voice, "You brought this upon yourself. You can't blame others." Seeing Luo Qing breathe his last, Longao took out all the soul orders from Luo Qing's arms. He turned to look at the 6 soul slaves beside him. He seemed to sigh. Evolved soul slaves were much stronger than first-line heavenly soul slaves. Coupled with the immortal body, the 6 soul slaves were simply too powerful. According to his own strength, with the help of the 6 soul slaves, he could even kill Luo Qing. Clap, 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 clap. At this time, a young man appeared in front of him. His face was cold, and his body was emitting waves of killing intent. Looking at Longao, he sneered and said, "Longao, your growth really surprised me. You're at the peak of evolution and can even kill a fusion warrior. Not bad, not bad." The young man who had just appeared was none other than Longao. He had successfully obtained the fire dragon as a partner. Moreover, he had an opportunity to raise his cultivation to the next level. He directly reached the fusion realm from the evolution realm. It was precisely because of this that Longao dared to swagger out when he saw Longao kill Luo Qing. Longming. Longao was also a little surprised. He never thought that he would meet Longming in this place. He sneered and snorted. "You're just a loser." War God Sect Group 217135300. Welcome to the group. If you have anything to say, just say it in the group. Chapter 105. Just a defeated opponent? Ha! Hearing this, Longming seemed to have heard the funniest thing in the world. His face was full of disdain and contempt. "Longao, do you know why I entered the Thunder Forest this time? To kill me." "That's right, Longao. You're indeed very smart, but your intelligence ends here today. You." Longao was also a little surprised because he could clearly sense that Longming was no longer the one-line sky martial artist from back then, but the current fusion martial artist. They were both fusion martial artists, but their strength was completely different. When they entered the Dragon Valley together, Longming had obtained a fire dragon egg. Longao knew that if nothing went wrong, the dragon egg Longming obtained should have hatched and grown. Otherwise, he had just killed the fusion martial artist. Was Longming a fool? Among the dragons, the level of the fire dragon was considered very high. It was because of this that Longao became slightly serious. However, things had already come to this point. No matter what happened, he had to fight with Longming. "Longao, are you afraid?" "Afraid my ass. If you want to fight, then fight. If not, scram." He had to admit that Longao was indeed domineering. Hearing this, Longming's eyes gradually turned cold. Then, a terrifying flame aura spread and a 3-meter-long fiery red dragon suddenly appeared. Looking at the fire dragon beside Longming, Longao was not afraid at all. In fact, Longao knew very well that the reason Longming dared to summon the fire dragon was because this place was secluded. Otherwise, Longming would never dare to summon the fire dragon even if he had 10,000 guts. However, he and Longming had entered the Dragon Valley to hide it from their Long family. Once the Long family found out, the two of them would be sentenced to death and would definitely be hunted down by the Long family. It was because of this that neither Long Ming nor he could easily summon their dragon companions. Once the Long family found out about this, the consequences would be unimaginable. With a cold smile, Long Ming asked, "Longao, where's your little snake?" With an enlightened expression, Long Ming said, "I almost forgot. Your little snake is too ugly. Not to mention you, I believe that no matter who you gave it to, you would choose to give it up. Ha ha ha, Longao, I won't look down on you. Idiot. Longao, I'll show you the difference today." With that said, Long Ming and the fire dragon had already rushed out. They did not say anything else. When the man and the dragon worked together, their power was earth-shattering, especially the fire dragon. Putting aside its strength, just its aura alone made Longao feel suffocated. This was his first time fighting with a giant dragon. Longao was also extremely excited. His fighting spirit surged, and the blood-sucking blade in his hand had already used the first 3 moves of the 8 moves of blood-sucking. The first move was the Yellow Spring's 9 consecutive strikes, the second move was the Frozen Heart Devouring, and the third move was the Blazing Sea of Flames. The moment they touched, Longao's expression changed drastically again. Although he knew that the fire dragon Long Ming had obtained was powerful, he had still underestimated the strength of the fire dragon. The fusion of a peak fire dragon and Long Ming, who had fused with the realm, was not as simple as 1 + 1 = 2. Shocked, Longao realized that the soul-suppressing seal he used could not erode the souls of the fire dragon and Long Ming at all. With no other choice, he could only summon 6 soul servants. No matter how strong Long Ming and the fire dragon's combined strength was, the 6 soul servants were immortal. This alone was enough to stall the man and the dragon. Did he have to use the 9-needle seal of gods? Longao was very clear in his heart that when he used the 9 needles to deal with the flowing cloud sect last time, he was not eroded by the power of the backlash. The reason was that because of Yu Yin's sudden accident, his state of mind had changed, and he was barely able to resist the backlash. Moreover, his cultivation had a faint breakthrough. However, he would not be so lucky every time. If he used the 9-needle seal of gods this time and could not resist the backlash, not only would he not be able to deal with Long Ming and the fire dragon, it might even make things worse. Longao had full confidence that once he used the 9-needle seal of gods, his strength would skyrocket. At that time, it would be more than enough to deal with the fire dragon and Long Ming. After weighing the pros and cons, Longao finally chose to give up using the 9-needle seal of gods. Just like that, without using the 9-needle seal of gods, Longao was forced to retreat step by step. The blood-sucking blade in his hand could not cut through the flame shield released by the fire dragon. Even the soul-suppressing seal could not erode it. One had to know that the soul-suppressing seal was his trump card every time. But now, his trump card was useless. Longao's 2 biggest trump cards were the soul-suppressing seal and the blood-sucking 8 styles. Both of his trump cards were useless, and Longao had no other choice. However, if this continued, the consequences could be imagined. Long Ming did not use his full strength, as if he wanted to humiliate the other party. The huge fire dragon continued to release flames that covered the sky and earth, suppressing fiercely. Just this point alone would make Long Ming invincible. Just like that, Long Ming and the fire dragon closed in step by step and Longao retreated step by step. Longao, weren't you very arrogant just now? What's wrong now? Are you scared? Ha ha ha, Longao, I will definitely torture you to death today. Long Ming had always been unconvinced when he was defeated by Longao last time. He wanted to find a chance to regain his face. Now that he had finally found a chance, how could Long Ming give up so easily? Trash. I'm trash? You can't even be trash. It seems like you're worse than trash. Long Ming's expression turned cold, as if he did not want to delay any longer. Because he had already summoned the fire dragon, once others found out, he would be in endless trouble. It was because of this that Long Ming was prepared to end the battle quickly. It was because of this that when the fire dragon released the power of flames, it also rushed out and attacked with all its strength, gathering all its strength into one point. How could Longao not know what Long Ming meant? At this moment, a dragon's roar suddenly sounded from Long Ming's arms, resounding through the world. Then, a pure black dragon more than 2 meters long with a single horn on its forehead appeared and stared at the fire dragon. Dragon? Black dragon? A black dragon with a single horn? Looking at the dragon that suddenly appeared, Long Ming was completely dumbfounded. Because he had never thought that the other party would have a dragon as well. Could this dragon in front of him be the so-called little snake? Although Long Chang's body was only 2 meters long, the moment he appeared, his powerful aura spread in all directions and directly enveloped the fire dragon. In the dragon race, dragons were also divided into different levels. In the case of the same level of strength, the difference in level could almost effortlessly defeat the opponent. Chapter 106. Xiao Chang, kill it! Hearing Long Ao's words, Long Chang let out a dragon's roar. Then, Long Chang's body rushed out. Before he arrived, his terrifying aura had already suppressed the fire dragon. The fire dragon seemed to be suppressed and took a few steps back. If Long Ming hadn't stopped it, the fire dragon would have escaped at this moment. The suppression of the dragon's level made the fire dragon not dare to resist at all. Seeing that his partner wanted to escape, Long Ming's expression changed. Was the other party's dragon level higher than the fire dragon? Unable to retreat, the fire dragon was forced to fight. In the blink of an eye, the fire dragon and Long Chang collided fiercely. As for Long Ao, he laughed coldly and rushed out. Without the fire dragon's help, Long Ming seemed to have lost his arms and was restrained. It was because of this that Long Ao could make a comeback without the fire dragon's suppression. The two dragons fought. Long Ao and Long Ming fought. The division of labor was clear. Even without the fire dragon's help, Long Ming was full of confidence. The fusion realm was above the evolution realm. However, in the battle just now, Long Ao's strength had already deeply shocked Long Ming. The first 3 styles of the blood-sucking 8 styles, the first style was the Yellow Spring's 9 consecutive strikes, the second style was the heart-biting ice, and the third style was the blazing sea of flames. Not only that, Long Ao also used the soul-suppressing seal at the same time and invaded Long Ming's body silently. But what shocked Long Ao was that the soul-suppressing seal couldn't invade Long Ming's body at all. What was going on? Long Ao had always been confident in his soul-suppressing seal. It could be said that it was perfect. But now, it couldn't invade Long Ming's body at all. With no other choice, Long Ao could only rely on the 8 styles of Blood Drinker. Under the combination of the 3 styles, each move was stronger than the last. As the battle continued to escalate, Long Ming gradually couldn't hold on anymore. The more he fought, the more shocked he became. Especially when the 2 dragons were fighting, the fire dragon was gradually unable to hold on. No! He watched as Long Ao's partner directly suppressed his own fire dragon and began to devour it. Even the flesh and blood of the fire dragon were being eaten mouthful by mouthful. Not to mention Long Ming, even Long Ao was extremely shocked. This was because he had never thought that the little fellow would be so domineering and bloody. She even ate the meat of the fire dragon bite by bite. The entire fire dragon was eaten clean. Long Chang seemed to want more and shot towards Long Ming without any hesitation. Just like that, Long Ming, who had the upper hand, was completely suppressed by Long Ao. Especially with Long Chang's help, it was like adding wings to a tiger. At this moment, Long Ming already knew very well that with his current strength, it was impossible for him to defeat the other party. If he hadn't experienced it personally, he wouldn't have believed it even if he was beaten to death. With his fusion realm strength, he couldn't even defeat a mere evolution realm opponent. Unable to defeat the other party, Long Ming prepared to turn and leave. But would Long Ao agree? Having seen Long Chang's strength, Longao was full of confidence that with his and Long Chang's combined strength, they would definitely be able to make the other party stay. Eliminate the source of trouble so that it wouldn't grow again. It was precisely because of this that Longao couldn't let Long Ming go. He and Long Chang pressed on, attacking the other party ruthlessly from both sides. Longao used the soul-suppressing seal that he couldn't invade earlier. As expected, Long Ming's mind was already in a mess at this moment. The soul-suppressing seal invaded the other party's body silently, and started to corrode Long Ming's soul. Long Ming, who was already in a mess, actually felt a strange power starting to corrode his soul. His expression was shocked, and he didn't dare to be careless. He circulated all the strength in his body and started to resist the power that corroded his soul. Longao didn't give up such a rare opportunity. The blood-sucking blade in his hand had already quickly slashed out 3 moves. It was the first 3 moves of the blood-sucking 8 moves. The first 3 moves of the blood-sucking 8 moves. The first move was the Yellow Spring 9 consecutive strikes, the second move was the Heart-devouring ice, and the third move was the Sea of Flames. The 3 moves overlapped and slashed towards Long Ming ruthlessly. If it was under normal circumstances, Long Ming would definitely be able to dodge it. But now, Long Ming, who was focused on resisting the corroding soul power in his body, couldn't resist Longao's full attack at all. The blood-sucking blade slashed down ruthlessly from head to toe, directly splitting Long Ming in half. The blood-sucking blade was very bloody and directly started to devour Long Ming's blood. In just a minute, Long Ming's blood was completely absorbed, and before Longao could deal with Long Ming's soul, Longao thought that Long Ming's soul would definitely be absorbed by the blood-sucking blade, but he realized that it wasn't. In surprise, Longao immediately put Long Ming's soul and the fire dragon's soul into the dragon seal space, preparing to refine them into soul slaves. Longao knew very well that he only had 6 evolved soul slaves by his side now. Once he met a fusion expert, he would have to take action himself. Just like now, it was very difficult for him to resist the combined forces of the fire dragon and Long Ming. If he could refine Long Ming and the fire dragon into soul slaves, even if he met a fusion expert, he would be able to easily destroy them. Looking at the corpses on the ground, Longao let out a long sigh of relief. After successfully killing Long Ming and the fire dragon, Longao's soul entered the dragon seal space. Long Fu, now that Luo Qing, Long Ming, and the fire dragon's souls are here, how long will it take for you to refine them into soul slaves for me? 3 days. If you work harder, you'll probably only need 1.5 days to complete the refinement. But Master, now that these 3 soul slaves have been successfully refined, I'm prepared to help Master refine their energy for the next soul. Master, your own strength is more important. Nodding, Longao naturally understood what Long Fu meant. What he said was right. It was better to rely on oneself than on others. One's own strength was the most important. No matter how many soul slaves there were, it wasn't their own strength. No matter what, it was enough to have Luo Qing, Long Ming, and the fire dragon's soul slave. He only needed to refine the remaining souls into energy to help himself and Long Chang break through. But one had to know that both he and the little fellow had the desolate physique, and the energy they needed was too great. Just by absorbing it under normal circumstances, who knew how long it would take to break through a level? Therefore, Long Fu borrowed the energy refined from the blood pool to better integrate it and break through. Master, I didn't expect your strength to break through so quickly. I just sensed that your soul-suppressing seal has been cultivated to completion. So, Master, you can continue to refine the next seal. Nodding, Longao was looking forward to the seal of destruction. Just the first seal, the soul-suppressing seal, was already so powerful, let alone the next seal. Just thinking about it made him look forward to it. Chapter 107. Seal of Destruction. The Seal of Destruction had a total of 18 moves. Long Fu had only taught Longao the first 4 moves. According to Long Fu, Longao could only practice the first 4 moves with his current strength. As for the remaining 14 moves, he didn't have the strength to practice them yet. The first 4 moves of the Seal of Destruction were the Soul-Suppressing Seal, Dark-Burning Seal, Sky-Burying Seal, and Doomsday Seal. Now that he had practiced the Soul-Suppressing Seal to its peak, the next step was to practice the second move of the Seal of Destruction, Dark-Burning Seal. The anticipation for the Extermination Seal made Longao unable to wait for even a moment. He immediately began to enter a state of cultivation. Noon of the second day. The Battle of Thunder had officially ended. Of the 32 kingdoms, the Thunder Empire, and a few scattered members, there were only less than 30 people left. With a ratio of 10 to 1, one could imagine how terrifying the Battle of Thunder was. According to the ratio, Longao was ranked second, and the first place went to the Thunder Nation Guardian Hall. Longao was ranked second, shocking the Thunder Empire and 32 kingdoms. As for Longao's background, it was also dug out by the various kingdoms. Especially when they learned that Longao was from the Star Cloud Kingdom, everyone was incomparably shocked. Star Cloud Kingdom had a total of 10 people participating in the Battle of Lightning. Other than Longao and Hao Chao, almost all of them were annihilated. When the Star Cloud Kingdom learned of this, the entire kingdom was shocked. The 2 survivors of the Thunder Battle had both left the Star Cloud Kingdom. When Ouyang Fei received this news, he was both pleasantly surprised and sorrowful. He was pleasantly surprised that nothing had happened to Longao, and he had even obtained second place in the Thunder Battle. However, he was sad that all of the Star Cloud Kingdom's members had died. To the Star Cloud Kingdom, this was definitely a terrible news. Star Cloud Kingdom's relay station. Uncle Hao, I know this is Luo Cheng's fault. I hope you won't leave the Nation Guardian Hall. Crown Prince, I have already left the Nation Guardian Hall. Hao Chao's face was resolute. Although Luo Cheng was dead, he had already left the Nation Guardian Hall. If he returned now, how would others see him? How could Ouyang Fei not know what Hao Chao was thinking? Facing such an expert, even if he was the Crown Prince of the kingdom, he was powerless. Helplessly, he looked at Longao. Although he did not speak, the expression on his face had already explained everything. Longao helplessly shrugged and smiled. Brother Hao, the Nebula Guardian Hall is a good choice. If you don't have a place to go, then why don't you stay here? Longao's words were obviously more effective than Ouyang Fei's. After thinking about it, Hao Chao said, In that case, I'll stay in the National Guard Hall for the time being. Ouyang Fei's eyes lit up as he asked, Brother Long, what about you? Shaking his head, Longao hoped that Hao Chao would return to the National Guard Hall, but it was impossible for him to do so. Big Brother Ouyang, I'm a person who likes to be free. I entered the Nation Guardian Hall because of you and Uncle. But because, forget it, I like to be alone. After taking a deep look at Longao, Ouyang Fei sighed deeply and didn't continue to say anything. He knew very well that since Longao had already decided on something, it wouldn't be an easy thing to change it. Ouyang Fei cursed Longao in his heart. Longao's talent and potential were there, but what about the National Guard Hall? Brother Long, you've already won second place in the Thunder Empire. If nothing unexpected happens, the Thunder Empire will summon you later and invite you to join the National Guard Hall. Longao was not a fool. Of course, he could understand the meaning of Ouyang Fei's words. After thinking about it, he said, I won't join the Thunder Empire's National Guard Hall. I'll leave and return to Chihua Town later. Longao was worried about Wang Yiyan's safety. He couldn't wait to fly back to Chihua Town. However, at this time, Longao suddenly received news from Chihua Town. After Yuyin consumed the Millennium Thunder Fruit, she successfully woke up. However, she was taken away by Yiyin's master. Her whereabouts were unknown. Hearing this news, Longao, who originally wanted to rest for a few days, immediately left Thunder City and headed towards Chihua Town. Chihua Town, Long family? Longao's return caused the entire Long family to boil. Especially when they heard that Longao had won in the thunder battle, they were pleasantly surprised. What kind of glory was it to win second place in the thunder battle? However, there were joys and sorrows. Although Longao had won second place in the thunder battle, he had left the Star Cloud National Guard Hall. No matter what, the Long family was still in the Star Cloud Kingdom. Once they provoked the Star Cloud Kingdom, the consequences would be unimaginable. Because of this, the Long family was worried. Long family, main hall. Long Haosher, Long Yi, and Long Ao were seated. Aoer, we have already received news about you and the Star Cloud National Guard Hall. However, the Star Cloud Royal family has been quite good to our Long family. How could Long Ao not know what his grandfather meant? He said, Grandfather, I know what to do. The Star Cloud Kingdom will not do anything to us. Long Ao had full confidence in this point. He did not dwell on this matter and asked, Grandfather, what about Yuin? Aoer, I know you came back this time mainly for Yuin. I can only tell you that Yuin was taken away by her master. The other party has already said that at least 3 years, at most 10 years, Yuin will return. At least 3 years? At most 10 years? Long Ao was completely anxious. Although he knew that Yuin had such a master, he had never seen him before. It could be said that he was a mysterious dragon. 3 years, 10 years, he could wait. However, he was incomparably worried. Grandfather. Long Haosher waved his hand and said with a dignified face, Aoer, Yin's master is too strong. Our entire Long family combined might not be his opponent. Aoer, I know that you are worried about Yuin. However, everything must be done with strength. If you act rashly, not only will you not be able to find Yuin, even you will be in danger. Do you understand what your grandfather is saying? I understand. How could Long Ao not understand? However, he was still worried about Yin's safety. However, Long Ao was also very clear that in this world where strength was respected, strength was everything. Without strength, not to mention oneself, even one's family could not be protected. It was precisely because of this that Long Ao knew that unless his strength reached a certain level, he would only be deceiving himself and others by looking for Yuin. My grandfather, I understand what you mean. Don't worry, I won't act rashly. I'll personally look for Yuin later. By the way, grandfather, I have something to discuss with you this time. What is it? Grandfather, father, this time on the way back, I have been thinking for a long time. I want the Long family to leave the Star Cloud Kingdom. Chapter 108. Leave the Nebula Royal Family? Hearing Long Ao's words, Long Haosher and Long Yi were shocked. They knew what it meant for the Long family to leave the Nebula Royal Family. Long Haosher asked seriously, Aoer, is your relationship with the Nebula Royal Family broken down to this extent? Long Ao knew what his grandfather meant. He shook his head and said, Grandfather, I believe you already know about the grudge between me and the Nebula Royal Family. Long Haosher and Long Yi nodded. They already knew what had happened between Aoer and the Nebula National Guard Hall. Grandfather, father, I've been outside for a while. I've gradually understood that when you're under someone else's roof, you have to lower your head. Long Haosher and Long Yi seemed to know what Long Ao was going to say next. However, they felt that it was natural. No matter what, the Long family was nothing in the eyes of the Nebula Royal Family. I know. Our Long family is nothing compared to the Nebula Royal Family. However, if the Long family stays in the Nebula Royal Family... Long Ao didn't continue, but the meaning in his words was clear. Long Haosher and Long Yi weren't fools. Of course, they understood the meaning in Aoer's words. They didn't say anything and lowered their heads to ponder. After thinking for a while, Long Yi finally said, Aoer, we understand what you mean. However, you've just said that our Long family's status and strength are obvious. Once we leave the Nebula Royal Family, will the Nebula Royal Family let us go? Long Haosher continued. Even if the Nebula Royal Family is willing to let us go, with our strength, I'm afraid it'll be difficult for us to establish ourselves. Longao had already thought about his grandfather's worries. However, it was precisely because of this that Longao wanted the Long family to leave the Nebula royal family. He didn't want himself and the Long family to be restricted. "Grandfather, father, I know that when we leave the Nebula royal family, it'll be difficult for the Long family to move forward. However, as long as we cross this hurdle, the Longao will definitely rise. Trust me." Looking deeply at Longao, both Long Haosher and Long Yin suddenly nodded and said, "Ao, since you've decided, we choose to believe you. Patriarch, the Nebula Emperor has brought the Crown Prince and the Guardian Hall's Hall Master to pay a visit." At this moment, a servant from the outer door suddenly ran in and said while kneeling on one knee, "The Emperor of the Nebula royal family? Crown Prince? The Hall Master of the National Defense Hall?" Hearing that these three people were here, Long Haosher, Long Yi, and Long Ao all stood up, astonishment written all over their faces. But one must know that within the Nebula Kingdom, there were only two people who had the most power. The first was the Nebula Imperial Family's Emperor, Ouyang Feng. The second was the head of the Kingdom Protector Hall, Tang Lin. As for Ouyang Fei, he would be the future emperor of the kingdom. As if he could guess the purpose of their visit, Long Ao said, "Grandfather, father, I don't want to see them. Please help me see them out." Blocking Long Ao's path, Long Haosher said, "Ao, no matter what, our Long family has yet to leave Star Cloud Kingdom. If we were to shed all pretense of cordiality, our Long family would be at a disadvantage." Of course, Long Ao understood what his grandfather meant. He had no choice but to continue staying. A short while later, Ouyang Fei, Ouyang Feng, and Tang Lin entered the Long family's main hall with smiles on their faces. "Brother Long, you've really made our Nebula Kingdom proud this time." Hearing Tang Lin's words, Long Ao and the other two's expressions changed. How could Long Ao not understand the meaning behind Tang Lin's words? He snorted inwardly. Back then, when he was forced to leave the Kingdom Protector Hall, where was the Nebula Imperial family? Where was Tang Lin? "Hall Master, I'm sorry, but I'm no longer a member of the Nebula Kingdom Protector Hall. So, in this thunder battle, I'm only representing myself." Tang Lin and Ouyang Feng were not angry at Long Ao's words. They still had smiles on their faces as the three of them took their seats. "Long Ao, I know that the Nebula Imperial family has let you down. However, I've already spoken to Brother Tang about this. From now on, Long Ao is officially the Vice Hall Master of the Kingdom Protector Hall and the next Hall Master." Hearing this, Long Haosher and Long Yi were shocked. Both of them knew what it meant to be the Hall Master of the Kingdom Protector Hall. However, Long Ao was not surprised at all. After all, he had participated in this thunder battle and obtained the second place. However, what if he did not obtain these achievements? Without a doubt, if he did not obtain the second place in the thunder battle, not only would the Nebula Kingdom not allow him to return to the Kingdom Protector Hall, they would even help him beat him when he was down. Because of this, Long Ao had already made his decision. However, before Long Ao could speak, Tang Lin suddenly said, "Family Head Long, 3 days ago, we've already announced that from now on, the Long family will be the local tyrant of the Scarlet Flame Town. No matter when or what happens, the Nebula Kingdom will not interfere with the matters of the Scarlet Flame Town." Hearing Tang Lin's words, not to mention Long Haosher and Long Yi, even Long Ao was completely shocked. Long Haosher and the other two were not fools. Of course, they understood what the Nebula Kingdom's decision meant. In other words, from now on, the Scarlet Flame Town belonged to the Long family, and not the Nebula Kingdom. "Long Ao, if you're still not satisfied with what the royal family has done, then I can only give the throne to you." "Your Majesty, you mustn't." Long Haosher was shocked and hurriedly came out to mediate. He was afraid that Long Ao would anger Ouyang Feng. No matter what, the Long family was still in the Nebula Kingdom's territory. Once they completely fell out with the Nebula Kingdom, the Long family would be the one to suffer in the end. As the Long family head, Long Haosher's first thought was still the Long family's interests. How could Long Ao not know what his grandfather was thinking? He sighed deeply in his heart. For the family, for his grandfather and father, it seemed that he had to compromise. Your Majesty, Hall Master, although I won't return to the Kingdom Protector Hall, I can promise that if anything happens to the Nebula Kingdom, I, Longao, will definitely not stand by and do nothing. This is all I can do. I hope you can understand. Hearing Aoer's words, Long Haoshe and Long Yi were shocked. However, Ouyang Feng and Tang Lin laughed. Ouyang Feng smiled and said, No problem, as long as you're happy. Oh right, Longao, I know about the grudge between you and the Flowing Cloud sect. If you're willing, the Nebula Kingdom can help you destroy the Flowing Cloud sect at any time. Thank you, but the grudge between me and the Flowing Cloud sect, I will settle it myself. Longao had already thought about the Flowing Cloud sect. With his current strength, it was time for him to go to the Flowing Cloud sect for revenge. Alright, since that's the case, we wish you success. Long Haoshe and Long Yi were surprised by Ouyang Feng and Tang Lin's attitude. They finally understood that Longao had grown to the point where even the Nebula Kingdom had to take him into consideration. Chapter 109. Sky Cloud Sect. The Sky Cloud Sect was no longer the same as before. The 4 elders had been killed, and only the Master Tulei and Yi Hao were left. According to Tulei, no matter what happened, he had to kill Longao to prevent future troubles. But what was the result? The news of Longao participating in the Thunder Battle and winning second place was also known to the Sky Cloud Sect, and they also knew about the announcement from the Star Cloud royal family. It was precisely because of this that Tulei and Yi Hao were incomparably solemn. Both of them knew that the current Longao was no longer someone they could deal with. Not to mention Longao, the Sky Cloud royal family alone was enough to force the Sky Cloud sect to compromise. Because of this, Tulei decided to send someone to contact Longao to resolve this matter peacefully. However, before he could send someone to the Red Fire town, Longao had already arrived at the Sky Cloud sect alone. Looking at the white-haired, black-clothed youth, both Tulei and Yi Hao were shocked. Was this still the arrogant youth from not long ago? Black clothes and white hair had almost become synonymous with Longao. Because of the strong rise of Longao in the Thunder Battle, many people remembered the name Longao. A white-haired, black-clothed youth, walking alone in the dark night. A white-haired, black-clothed youth with a blood oath walked in the dark night. My life is in my own hands. Sky Cloud Sect, Sky Cloud Peak. The peak was surrounded by disciples of the Sky Cloud Sect. At a glance, there was a sea of people, at least 3,000 to 5,000 people. The black-clothed, white-haired youth was no stranger to the disciples of the Sky Cloud Sect, because it was this person who had killed the 4 elders of the Sky Cloud Sect. Longao, I have to admit that you are really arrogant. You dared to come to the Sky Cloud Sect alone. Yi Hao snorted and said sarcastically, You don't know what's good for you. If it weren't for the Star Cloud Guardian Hall, you would have been dead. Over 1,000 Flowing Cloud Sect disciples burst into laughter, mocking and laughing madly. Ignoring everyone's mockery, Longao stood under the clouds and coldly looked at the 2 people in front of him. His body gave off a formless cold and murderous aura. He would never forget Yuyin's hatred for him in this lifetime. Longao was very clear that if it weren't for the frost bed and the 1,000-year-old thunderfruit, perhaps Yuyin would have already died. So this battle was unavoidable. Tulei, Yi Hao, let's cut the crap. Today, I came to the Sky Cloud Martial School to settle our grudge once and for all. You, Longao, you should know that you are no longer a member of the Nebula Guardian Hall. Even though Tulei and Yi Hao knew that Longao was no longer a member of the royal family, they did not dare to kill him. They were not fools, and they knew what kind of status Longao held in the Nebula royal family. As if he could see through their thoughts, Longao snorted and said, I don't need anyone to meddle in my business. Today, I will fight with the Sky Cloud Martial School. No one will interfere. My life and death will be decided by the heavens. Ha ha, Longao, I really admire you. Hearing this, Yi Hao suddenly burst into laughter. His laughter was full of contempt and disdain. Your life is in my hands, not the heavens. Today, I will destroy the Sky Cloud Martial School. Without wasting any more time, the blood-sucking broadsword appeared in his hand. He said heroically, Tu Lei Yi Hao, and all the disciples of the Sky Cloud Martial School, come at me together. Together? Everyone looked at the arrogant young man, especially the white-haired man, as if they were looking at an idiot. No matter what, there were at least 3,000 to 5,000 disciples of the Sky Cloud Martial School. Once they all attacked together, would this young man be able to withstand it? Arrogant, reckless. Tu Lei sneered and said, Since you want to die, I will give you a chance. Longao, if you can withstand 100 moves from them today, I will let you go. Then Yi Hao and Tu Lei retreated far away. Tu Lei waved his hand indifferently. Then, earth-shattering roars came from all directions. More than 5,000 disciples of the Sky Cloud Martial School swarmed up. There was no doubt that among the 5,000 people, no one was Longao's opponent. But what if 5,000 people joined forces? There were more than 5 people. Even if Longao could kill all of them, Longao would be exhausted to death. Longao did not have the slightest mercy, because he already understood that if he wanted to live a better life in this dog-eat-dog world, there was only one word: kill. Kill. Holding the blood-sucking broadsword, Longao's body also rushed out. The first 3 moves of the blood-sucking 8 styles. The first move was the 9 consecutive strikes of the underworld, the second move was the heart-devouring ice, and the third move was the sea of flames. At this moment, Longao was like a demon god, directly rushing into the crowd and killing. The blood-sucking broadsword, with a bloody light, kept reaping the lives of the Sky Cloud Martial School's disciples. As for the souls, Longao did not waste them at all, and kept them all in the Dragon Seal space. Longao was ready to finish this battle himself. Longao did not plan to summon his soul slaves in this battle, because he knew very well that as long as he summoned Luoqing, Longming, and Fire Dragon soul slaves, he could completely destroy the entire Sky Cloud Martial School in a few minutes. But Longao did not do so, because in his opinion, he had to avenge Yuyin himself. Master, Longao's strength has exceeded our imagination. This boy must not be left alive, or there will be endless trouble. Evolving the realm? Feeling the power released by the opponent, Yi Hao's face was extremely gloomy, as ugly as it could be. In Yi Hao's opinion, Longao's growth was too fast. If this boy continued to live, it would not be long before he could easily kill him. If that really happened, what should he do? Therefore, this boy must die, even if it meant offending the Nebula Guardian Hall. Nodding, Tu Lei's face was also dignified, and said, After killing this boy, we will go far away to the Nebula Kingdom. But with the foundation of our sect, no matter where we go, we can make a comeback. How could Yi Hao not know what the master meant? In any case, the relationship between the Nebula royal family and Longao was unusual. Once Longao was killed, the Nebula Guardian Hall would definitely not let it go. With the strength of the sect, could they withstand the attack of the Nebula royal family? It was precisely because of this that Tu Lei and Yi Hao's eyes gradually turned cold. The two of them had already planned everything, so they didn't care about the life and death of the sect disciples, so that they could consume Longao's physical strength. At that time, they would be able to reap the benefits and easily kill each other. How could Longao not know about the two's shamelessness? That was why he did not hold back at all, because he knew that the longer the delay, the worse it would be for him. Chapter 110. End the battle quickly. Longao certainly knew that the delay of time was fatal to him. It was precisely because of this that Longao held his blood-drinking frenzy blade, and continuously used blood-drinking 3 styles, especially the third style, Sea of Flames. Among the first 3 styles of blood-drinking 8 styles, only the third style, Sea of Flames, was suitable for group combat. According to Tu Lei and Yi Hao's calculations, Longao would need at least half an hour to defeat more than 5,000 disciples. At that time, they would be able to reap the benefits and easily kill the opponent. But the result? In less than 3 minutes, Longao had already killed a bloody path. Corpses were everywhere, and blood flowed like a river. "Those who block me will die!" The killing began to numb, but Longao knew very well in his heart that he had no choice but to do so. At the same time as the roar sounded out, the wild blade in his hand swung out once again. The raging sea of flames covered the sky and suppressed the earth. For some reason, the remaining disciples of the Sky Cloud sect were still like moths to a flame. They knew that this was a dead end, but they still roared in anger. One after another, there was an endless stream. "Those who block me will die! Kill!" With Longao's massacre, a dragon's roar suddenly resounded through the sky. Long Chang, who was ready to come out, was forcibly suppressed by Longao. He was startled. Longao was not a fool. Of course, he knew that once Long Chang appeared, it would cause a lot of trouble. This was not because of the Sky Cloud sect, but because of the Nebula royal family under the Sky Cloud sect. Longao knew very well that a dragon warrior only had a Long family above rank 3. Once the Long family knew that he was a dragon warrior, the result could be imagined. It was precisely because of this that Longao forcibly suppressed Long Chang and rushed out again. Just like this, Longao forcibly opened up a bloody path. When everyone was preparing to continue like moths to the flame, Longao suddenly turned around and coldly looked at the less than half of the Sky Cloud Martial School's disciples, and said, "Are you still willing to continue working for this kind of school and elders?" Longao's words indeed had an effect. Everyone looked at each other and looked at each other. None of the disciples present were idiots. Of course, they knew that the Sky Cloud Martial School was using them as cannon fodder. However, as disciples of the Sky Cloud Martial School, were they really going to risk their lives for nothing? No one knew who took the lead, but more than 2,000 people turned around and ran quickly. In a short while, they had disappeared without a trace. At this moment, at the peak of Drifting Cloud's Peak, corpses were everywhere, and blood flowed like a river. All of the Sky Cloud Martial School's disciples had been killed, and the rest had all escaped. Strictly speaking, only Tu Lei and Yi Hao were left in the whole Sky Cloud Martial School. A commander without an army. Looking at the corpses on the ground, it would be a lie to say that they were not moved. However, Yi Hao and Tu Lei knew that as long as they could kill Longao, they would not hesitate to destroy the whole Sky Cloud Martial School. "Longao, I have to admit that you are really powerful. You are the most talented person I have ever seen. However, you will die for sure." Tu Lei waved his hand, and Yi Hao's body had already rushed out. Before he arrived, his powerful aura had already arrived. But before Yi Hao could react, Longao's wild devouring blade had already slashed over. Yellow Spring 9 consecutive strikes, frozen heart devouring and raging flame sea were stacked layer by layer, plus the erosion of the soul suppressing seal. Just one slash had already cut Yi Hao in half. Yi Hao had been killed in one strike. Stupefied, Tu Lei seemed to find it hard to accept because he knew Yi Hao's strength. Yi Hao was the second strongest in the Sky Cloud Martial School, second only to himself. "Tu Lei, it's your turn." Only Tu Lei was left in the Sky Cloud Martial School. As long as Yi Hao could kill Tu Lei, not only would he get his revenge, but the Sky Cloud Martial School would also be completely destroyed. Tu Lei seemed to be unable to accept this fact. However, in the next second, Tu Lei looked as if he had seen a ghost. He stared at Yi Hao, who had just come back from the dead, and almost screamed out loud. "Soul Slave?" Looking at the summoned soul servant, Longao naturally knew that this was a soul servant that Long Fu had refined for him. However, the speed was a little too fast. However, he did not think too much about this situation. Tu Lei looked at the corpses on the ground, then looked at Yi Hao, and said in disbelief, "You are not Yi Hao. You are just a soul? No matter what he is, you will die." Putting Yi Hao's soul slave back into the dragon space, he had already informed Long Fu to refine Yihao and the 6 soul slaves of the Nebula Guardian Hall, and channel their power into Long Chang's body. Tu Lei, today you and I will fight to the death. I hope you will not disappoint me. Ha ha ha, Longao, you think you can defeat me? As if he had heard the funniest thing in the world, Tu Lei suddenly looked up to the sky and laughed. His laughter was full of disdain and ridicule. Longao, I want to see how you can kill me today. Tu Lei finally moved. As a fusion warrior, Tu Lei's strength was not comparable to Yihao's. However, Longao was not afraid at all. Instead, he was full of fighting spirit. With white hair and black clothes, the arrogant young man stood on the top of the drifting cloud peak with blood-drinking broadsword in his hand. He ignored Tu Lei. When Tu Lei was 1 meter away from him, Longao's body began to move slowly. Soul-suppressing seal and blood-drinking were used at the same time. As for Longao, he turned sideways and attacked to the left. Once an expert made a move, one would know whether he was good or not. In fact, in Tu Lei's heart, he looked down on Longao. However, in less than 1 round, Tu Lei already knew that Longao's strength was almost on par with his. No wonder he dared to attack the flowing cloud sect alone. It was because of this that Tu Lei was even more determined to kill him. In this way, the two had fought for 3 rounds in the blink of an eye. There was no clear winner. Both of them wanted to kill the other, not giving the other any chance at all. The first 3 styles of blood drinking 8 styles, the first style, 9 consecutive strikes, the second style, heart-devouring ice, and the third style, sea of flames, instantly superimposed on each other. Together with the soul-suppressing seal, they began to corrode Tu Lei's soul silently. Tu Lei, who had been very careful, was still corroded by the soul-suppressing seal. He was shocked and immediately divided his strength into 2. One side resisted the strange power that corroded his soul with all his strength, while the other side attacked Longao with all his strength. The soul-suppressing seal had already invaded Tu Lei's body. Longao was suddenly overjoyed. He would not give up this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. The soul-suppressing seal came out one after another, and together with the blood-drinking 3 styles, he forced Tu Lei to retreat step by step. Longao, you dared to kill me? Kill! At this moment, Longao did not have the slightest mercy. He wanted to cut the weeds and eliminate the roots. Enough, Longao, if you don't stop, I can only kill you. At this time, a majestic voice sounded. Then, 3 figures appeared on the top of the drifting cloud peak. Chapter 111. Get out of my way. Killing Tu Lei was within his reach. At this moment, Longao was not going to stop. No matter who it was, he would not stop him. He would kill anyone who stood in his way. However, the old man's face turned cold. A terrifying aura burst out from his body and froze Longao in place. Not daring to continue moving, Longao was incomparably shocked because he realized that the 3 people who appeared in front of him were simply too powerful. Compared to the 3 of them, Tu Lei was like an ant compared to an elephant. Seeing the 3 people, Tu Lei was overjoyed. He immediately bowed and said, Master, elders. Master? Elder? The old man who had just released his aura snorted and said, Tu Lei, you are doing a good job as the master of the Sky Cloud sect. Tu Lei was shocked. He immediately knelt on the ground and said in a trembling voice, Elder, it's my fault, it's my fault. Looking at Tu Lei kneeling on the ground, Longao was even more surprised. Who were these 3 people? Why would Tu Lei kneel to them? Get out of my way. Thank you, Elder. Tu Lei didn't dare to disobey at all. He stood up and stood aside, trembling with fear. His body was still trembling. Who are you? Ha ha ha, Longao, you are really good. But you dared to provoke the Blood Sea sect. You will die. Blood Sea sect? Hearing the 3 words Blood Sea sect, Longao was also shocked. As a member of the Sky Province, of course he had heard of the Blood Sea sect. The Blood Sea sect was a super existence above the Thunder Empire. It was as famous as the Ghost King sect. It was easy to imagine what kind of existence the Blood Sea sect was. Was there a connection between the Sky Cloud sect and the Blood Sea sect? As if he could read Longao's mind, the Blood River sect's elder Du Huishuan sneered and said, "You don't even know who's backing the Flowing Cloud sect, yet you dare to be so presumptuous. You really don't know what death is." Another elder, who was also Du Huishuan's younger brother and an elder of the Blood Sea sect, Du Yunxian, said, "Longao, the Flowing Cloud sect is a branch of the Blood Sea sect. You have openly destroyed the Flowing Cloud sect, which is the same as going against the Blood Sea sect. Do you want to kill yourself here, or do you want us to do it?" Aura. The powerful aura emanating from the three of them made Longao not have the slightest confidence of winning, because the three of them were too powerful. Longao was very clear in his heart that even if he used the 9 needles to seal the gods, he might not be able to safely escape from the hands of these 3 people. "Star Cloud royal family, since you're here, come out." Following Du Huishuan's words, 3 people walked out from a short distance away. They were the Nebula Imperial family's emperor, Ouyang Feng, Crown Prince, Ouyang Fei, and the National Guardian Hall's Hall Master, Tang Lin. Master Guan, 2 elders. Nodding indifferently, the Blood Sea sect's Master Guan Feng said coldly, "This is a grudge between Longao and the Blood Sea sect. I don't think the Star Cloud Kingdom will interfere. Master, if the Star Cloud Kingdom dares to interfere, then just slaughter them." Du Huishuan's words were very arrogant, but everyone knew clearly that Du Huishuan did have the qualifications to be arrogant. Ouyang Feng's face was a bit bitter. He had forgotten that the Flowing Cloud sect was a branch of the Blood Sea sect. It could be said that he had made one wrong step after another. Even if he was very reluctant in his heart, he could only choose to compromise. "Master Guan, Longao has already left the National Guard Hall. Not long ago, the Star Cloud Kingdom gave the Scarlet Fire Town to the Long family. Therefore, from now on, whatever Longao does has nothing to do with the Star Cloud Kingdom." "Father." Waving his hand, Ouyang Feng helplessly said, "This is a grudge between the Blood Sea sect and the Longao. It has nothing to do with the Star Cloud Kingdom." Hearing Ouyang Feng's words and looking at the helpless face of Ouyang Fei, Longao suddenly raised his head to the sky and laughed loudly. His laughter was filled with many different emotions. This was the Star Cloud Kingdom. This was the Star Cloud Kingdom that tried to rope him in not long ago. What a joke! Longao had already decided that no matter what, he would never join a kingdom like this. When you are useful, they hold you tightly. But when you are useless, they can't wait to kick you away. This was the Star Cloud Kingdom. Ouyang Feng is right. I, Longao, have nothing to do with the Star Cloud Kingdom. Not only now, but also in the future. After taking a deep look, Longao continued, "From now on, no matter what happens in the future, the safety of the Star Cloud Kingdom has nothing to do with me, Longao, or my family." Longao's meaning was very clear. Ouyang Feng was not an idiot. Of course, he understood. "Brother Long." Without giving Ouyang Fei any chance to speak, Longao smiled and said, "Big brother Ouyang, I know your situation. I don't blame you. No matter what happens between me and the Star Cloud Kingdom in the future, you will always be my big brother. Let's go." Ouyang Fei didn't say anything before leaving. No matter what, the Star Cloud Kingdom was in the wrong first. Looking at the 3 leaving, Guan Feng and the other 2 sneered. After all, the Star Cloud Kingdom was not even a fart in their eyes. As long as the Blood River sect moved their fingers, they believed that they could easily destroy the entire Star Cloud Kingdom. "Longao, seeing that you can be considered a genius, I will give you a chance. Kill yourself? Kill yourself, your sister. You dare to scold me?" With a cold laugh, Longao scolded, "You are a beast among scum. You are a waste of air if you live. You are a waste of land if you die. Let me give you a piece of advice. It's best if you buy 2 pounds of tofu and go home to kill yourself." Puchi. Aoshua. Father, I feel that Longao's scolding is really correct. The Blood Sea sect has always been shameless. Ao Shui, who had a face full of ridicule, pulled a middle-aged man out. Seeing the middle-aged man, the faces of Guan Feng and the other two changed slightly. Brother Guan, long time no see. How have you been? Humph, Brother Ao, did you come this time to protect Longao? Longao was not an idiot. Seeing how close Aoshua was to this middle-aged man, he had already guessed that this middle-aged man was the master of the Ghost King sect, Ao Tian. He was also Aoshua's biological father. As for the purpose of Aoshua and Ao Tian's visit, Longao was very clear. He was more or less touched. After all, he knew that if the Ghost King sect came to protect him, they would definitely provoke the Blood River sect. Ha ha ha, Brother Guan, I am not here to protect Longao. I am only here to see my future son-in-law. Not bad at all. Aoshua's taste is not bad. Father. Aoshua's face was red, but her expression had already betrayed her. Seeing this situation, Guan Feng and the other two felt that something was wrong. Once Longao became the son-in-law of the Ghost King sect, if the Blood River sect continued to deal with him, wouldn't that be declaring war on the Ghost King sect? The Blood River sect could ignore the Star Cloud Kingdom, but they would not dare to ignore the Ghost King sect. Chapter 112. Ao Tian, the master of Ghost King sect, was also Aoshua's father. Ignoring the three from Blood Sea sect, Ao Tian looked at the young man in front of him and asked, Long family? Level 6 Long family of Red Fire Town. Regarding this point, Long Ao was very clear. After all, the Long clan had countless branches. Just the level alone was divided into 9 levels. Level 6 Long clan was nothing to the entire Long clan. Yes, Aoshua said she liked you very much. At first I was worried, but now that I see you, I have agreed. Thank you, father. Sighing deeply, Ao Tian said helplessly, I only have one daughter, sigh, what a headache. Looking at the father and daughter in front of them echoing each other, Guan Feng and the other two were completely furious. However, due to the strength of Ghost King sect, they dared to be angry but did not dare to act. But for Long Ao, the three were obviously determined to get him and would not give up easily. Brother Ao, it seems you are determined to protect this person? I just said, he is my future son-in-law. Needless to say, just this point alone was enough to express Ao Tian's meaning. The three were not fools, of course, they could understand. Looking deeply at the other party, Guan Feng said coldly, Ao Tian, the Green Mountain will not change, the green water will flow forever. My Blood Sea sect will definitely settle this debt with you. Let's go. Wait. Ao Tian, don't go too far. Ignoring the anger of the other party, Ao Tian said with a smile, Long Ao is my future son-in-law, so you better not touch him, including the Long family of Red Fire Town. Otherwise, Ghost King sect will start with Blood Sea sect. At this moment, Guan Feng was furious to the extreme, but he could not do anything. Without a choice, Guan Feng kicked Tu Lei's chest, turned around and quickly left. As for Tu Lei, he had already turned into a corpse on the ground. Thank you, Senior Ao Tian. Waving his hand, Ao Tian seemed to be very satisfied with his future son-in-law, smiled and said, Ao, or if you don't mind, you can call me Uncle Ao. Uncle Ao. Long Ao was very clear that Ao Tian was willing to help him because of Aoshua. Otherwise, as the Ghost King of Ghost King sect, how could he offend Blood Sea sect for him? Okay. Humph, Long Ao, my father and I saved you this time. You must remember to be grateful. Long Ao smiled, but didn't say anything. The strength displayed by the three from the Blood Sea sect just now was too strong. He even had a feeling that he was powerless to resist. As if he could read his mind, Ao Tian said, Why don't we find a place and I will tell you about Tianzhou? Thank you, Uncle Ao. Chihua Town, Bazaar, inside a tea house. Uncle Ao Tian, I want to know if there's an even higher realm above the Xiantian realm? Previously, When he faced the three of them, Longao had a feeling that Du Huishuan's strength was far above the consolidation realm. If that was the case, didn't that mean that there was an even higher existence above the consolidation realm? Nodding his head, Aotian said, "Your guess is correct. Du Huishuan and Du Yunxian are both earthly sovereign martial artists." Earthly sovereign martial artists? Sure enough, although he didn't know what realm the earthly sovereign martial artists were, Longao was very clear that the earthly sovereign martial artists were definitely above the consolidation realm. Aoer, in your previous perception, martial artists are only divided into the Hotian realm and Xiantian realm, right? Nodding his head, Longao said, "Yes. In fact, in addition to the Hotian realm and Xiantian realm, there is also the so-called transformation realm, which is above the Xiantian realm." Sure enough. Uncle Aotian, is the transformation realm the so-called earthly sovereign martial artists? Shaking his head, Aotian gently sipped his tea and said, "No, the transformation realm is divided into 5 realms, namely lightning tribulation, transformation, human king, earthly sovereign, and Tao ancestor." So that's it. Now that he thought about it, Longao finally understood what kind of existence the earthly sovereign martial artists were. No wonder Du Huishuan and Du Yunxian were so arrogant, they had the qualifications to be arrogant. Longao didn't continue to ask about Guan Feng's strength. Without a doubt, even the elder was an earthly sovereign martial artist, not to mention the master, who was definitely a Tao ancestor. As for Aotian, there was also no need to ask. Aotian, it seemed that he was the so-called Tao ancestor martial artist. Transformation realm, lightning tribulation, transformation, human king, earthly sovereign, and Tao ancestor, Longao thought deeply in his heart. It seemed that his strength was far from enough. Not to mention the transformation realm, even the Xiantian realm had not reached the peak. Because of this, Longao didn't think about the so-called transformation realm, because he knew very well that biting off more than one could chew was not a good thing for a martial artist. "Aoer, I believe that you still don't know much about the Tianzhou. Let me tell you about it." Nodding his head, Longao indeed didn't know much about the Tianzhou. Ever since he obtained the mysterious dragon seal, he had been constantly fighting or cultivating to make breakthroughs. He simply didn't have the time to understand the Tianzhou he was in. The Tianwu continent is divided into 9 provinces. Our Tianzhou is ranked first. This isn't because of the Tianzhou's strength, but because of its name. Longao knew about this. The Tianzhou has a total of 6 great sects, namely the Ghost King sect, Blood Sea sect, Wind Lightning sect, Golden Sun sect, Blazing Flame sect, and Sound of Thunder sect. In the past, the 6 great sects were in a chaotic battle. In the end, the Blazing Flame sect and Sound of Thunder sect won, so they dominated the secular world and established the Thunder Empire and Flame Empire. Hearing this, Longao was shocked. He never would have thought that the Thunder Empire and Flame Empire had such a powerful background. They actually had the support of the Blazing Flame sect and Sound of Thunder sect. No wonder the 2 great empires could dominate the entire Tianzhou. The other kingdoms didn't dare to resist at all. Of the 6 great sects, without a doubt, the Blazing Flame sect and Sound of Thunder sect are the strongest. Next is my Ghost King sect, so Guan Feng didn't want to shed all pretense of cordiality. However, Aoer, the Blood Sea sect likes to play dirty. You have to be careful. I believe Guan Feng won't let this matter go. I know. Although this was the first time Longao had seen Guan Feng and the Blood Sea sect, he more or less knew. The reason Guan Feng let him go this time was because he was afraid of Aotian and the Ghost King sect. If Aotian wasn't by his side, would Guan Feng still sit and wait for death? Longao wasn't worried about himself. The only thing he was worried about was his family. Thinking about it, he finally said, "Uncle Aotian, I want to ask you for a favor." "I understand. I'll take care of your family. I believe the Blood Sea sect is afraid of my Ghost King sect and won't do anything to your family. However, it's hard to say for sure. How about this? Come with me to the Ghost King sect and cultivate for a few decades. At that time, even the Blood Sea sect won't be able to do anything to you. Chapter 113. Ao Tian's intention was very clear. He wanted Longao to hide in the Ghost King sect, so that the Blood Sea sect would not dare to act rashly. But would Longao agree? The answer was obvious. Longao would definitely not agree. Longao's character was like this. The more he fought, the braver he became. He would not be frightened by anything, including the Blood Sea sect. Shaking his head, Longao said firmly, "Thank you, Uncle Ao Tian. But I still hope to solve my own problems. The Blood Sea sect will be my next target." Ao Tian was not surprised at all. He seemed to be very appreciative and said, "Well, it's getting late. We should go. If you have any problems in the future, come to the Ghost sect to find me." Pulling up Aoshue, who was unwilling to leave, Ao Tian suddenly continued, "Longao, remember, if you want to marry Aoshue, your current strength is far from enough." Looking at the two figures gradually disappearing, Longao did not give up at all. Instead, he clenched his hands and told himself, "I will definitely let the whole world know that I, Longao, am the strongest." Since knowing that there were the 5 transformations realms above the innate realm, Longao became more diligent in his cultivation. Because he knew that according to his current strength, he had not reached the peak of the innate realm, let alone the 5 transformations realms. The acquired realm, the 5 innate realms, and the 5 transformations realms. Then, the news that Longao killed Long Ming had spread throughout the whole Tianzhou. Long Ming was a figure ranked 70th on the 100 battle ranking. Now that Longao had defeated Long Ming, it meant that from now on, Longao would replace Long Ming and become the 70th figure on the 100 battle ranking. Once the news came out, it completely shocked the whole Tianzhou. Longao, the most popular teenager in Tianzhou, rose strongly. In just a few months he set out from the Red Fire town and fought his way to Thunder City. Not only did he win the 2nd place in the Thunder Battle, but he also became the 17th figure on the 100 battle ranking. The 100 battle ranking. The Tianwu continent was divided into 9 prefectures. Each prefecture had its own 100 battle roll, and the Tianzhou was no exception. Every prefecture had a 100 battle roll, and the 9 prefectures had 900 battle rolls. The 100 battle ranking list was a list that only warriors under the age of 40 could pursue. The 100 battle ranking list was the list with the most content among the younger generation in each province. Every young warrior wanted to be on the list to prove themselves to the world. Longao successfully became the 70th person on the 100 battle ranking list, but there was still a steady stream of challenges. After all, in this world, many people wanted to be famous, and challenging the people on the 100 battle ranking list became the fastest way for young warriors to become famous. That was how people were. They often didn't go to a deeper level to express their gratitude. In many people's eyes, even though Longao had risen in just a few short months, he was still too young. In addition, Longao's previous reputation as a trash caused many people to constantly challenge him. Longao did not show any mercy to those who challenged him. This was because Longao understood that if he didn't remove the root of the problem, it would bring him endless trouble. Chihua Town. Now Chihua Town had been separated and did not belong to Star Cloud Kingdom. A small town without the protection of the kingdom would definitely be coveted by others. But at this moment, Chihua Town was unusually safe, because there was a young man who rose up strongly. Not only that, Ghost King's sect had announced to the world that no one was allowed to touch the Long family in Chihua Town. Among them, the one who regretted it the most was the Star Cloud Kingdom, because until now, Tang Lin and Ouyang Feng had not reacted. They did not know when Longao had gotten involved with the Ghost King sect, and the Ghost King sect did not hesitate to shed all pretense of cordiality with the Blood Sea sect to protect Longao. Everyone knew very well what the Ghost King sect meant. As one of the 6 sects in Tianzhou, Ghost King sect's strength was second only to Flame sect and Thunder sect. If Star Cloud Kingdom could get the support of Ghost King sect, Star Cloud Kingdom would definitely rise. But in this world, there was no medicine for regret. Ouyang Feng already knew that it was almost impossible to rope in Longao, but he still didn't give up. He sent Ouyang Fei to Chihua Town in an attempt to ease the relationship between the two sides. In the end, Longao still met Ouyang Fei. But Longao's meaning was very simple. He treated Ouyang Fei as his big brother, but he had nothing to do with Star Cloud Kingdom. He didn't even mention it. Just like that, Ouyang Fei sighed deeply and left Star Cloud Kingdom. From then on, Chihua Town was completely separated from Star Cloud Kingdom. According to Longao's meaning, with Chihua Town's current strength, it would be very difficult to survive. The only way was to develop. Whether it was a town or a city, development wasn't something that could be achieved with strength. It required a large amount of gold coins. But now the Long family was no longer the same as before. With the support of everyone in Chihua Town had undergone earth-shaking changes in just a few months. Chihua Town, Long family, main hall. Chihua Town is now on the right track. If nothing unexpected happens, 10 years later, Chihua Town should be able to develop into an existence like Thundercloud City. Nodding his head, Longy said with surprise, "Originally, I thought that Chihua Town would have a hard time after leaving Star Cloud Kingdom. But now, it seems that we were overthinking." Looking at the happy faces of his father and grandfather, Longao also felt a kind of joy. Because he knew that only when Chihua Town was strong, the Long family would be stronger. Therefore, developing Chihua Town was a must. Father, I'll leave Chihua Town's killing intent to you. I'll leave Chihua Town in a while and go out to gain experience. They weren't surprised at all because Long Haoshe and Long Yi both knew that Aoer was no longer the child from before. Experts needed to be constantly tempered in order to grow. Aoer, be careful in everything. Remember, the Long family will always be your home. Whenever you're tired, come back. Got it. Late at night, the dark night was dotted with stars. Longao sat alone in a small courtyard. According to Longao's current position in the Long family, he didn't need to continue living in the small courtyard. But for some reason, Longao couldn't bear to leave this place. "Master, I've already tested it. Soul slaves can't leave the dragon seal space for too long. Otherwise, they'll be killed by the spiritual chi of heaven and earth." Hearing this, Longao wasn't surprised at all. Originally, Longao thought that if he could leave a few soul slaves in the family, then even if the family had some situation, he wouldn't be too far away to help. But now, it was impossible for him to leave the soul slaves. The family didn't have any experts to oversee it. After thinking for a while, Longao's eyes suddenly lit up. Chapter 114. Inside the Dragon Seal Space. "Long Fu, is there any way to refine some powerful soul slaves for my family?" "Master, I know what you mean, but it's impossible." After thinking for a while, Long Fu said, "Master, in the blood pool, other than refining soul slaves, you can also refine corpse slaves. However, corpse slaves are weaker than soul slaves, so they can stay outside." He was overjoyed. Whether it was soul slaves or corpse slaves, as long as they could stay outside. "Long Fu, how long will it take for you to refine all my soul slaves into corpse slaves?" "Master, you misunderstood. Refining corpse slaves doesn't require souls, but corpses, so I can't do anything about it." "Corpses? Not souls?" He was a little depressed. Longao knew that it wasn't easy to find a suitable corpse to refine into corpse slaves in a short period of time. Since that was the case, he would go out and look for it. The next day, early morning, Longao left the Scarlet Fire town under the gazes of the Long family. First stop, Longao went directly to the Thunder Forest. Because in Tianzhou, there were only two forests with the most powerful spiritual beasts. One was the Flame Forest, and the other was the Thunder Forest. 10 days later in the Thunder Forest, Longao and Long Chang shuttled through the forest. With one man and one dragon working together, there was almost no opponent. Because at this moment, Longao's cultivation had reached another level after 10 days of training, breaking through from the peak of evolution to the fusion realm. Longao was full of confidence. According to his current strength, once he joined forces with Long Chang, even if he faced a unification warrior, he would still have the strength to fight. Innate 5 realms, 100 scattered sky realm, 1 line sky realm, evolution realm, fusion realm, unification realm. Transformation 5 realms, lightning tribulation realm, transformation realm, human king realm, earth sovereign realm, Tao ancestor realm. Longao's cultivation had already broken through the fusion realm. He was only one step away from officially advancing to the unification realm. At that time, he could work towards the transformation realm. So, no matter what, he had to find a way to break through to the unification realm as soon as possible. Unity Blood Demon Wolf Pack. Before Longao could react, he was already surrounded by hundreds of consolidation realm blood demon wolves. Shocked, Longao did not dare to be careless. He joined forces with Long Chang and released a few soul slaves. Even so, Longao was still no match for hundreds of consolidation realm warriors. In just a few minutes, Longao was already riddled with wounds. Just as he was about to turn around and leave, he was once again struck by a blood demon wolf, and his entire body was sent flying. Enduring the waves of pain in his body, Longao turned around and left quickly. After running for an hour, he barely managed to shake off the gore-fiend wolves. It was a group battle, and they were all at the consolidation realm. Even if a consolidation realm warrior was here, he would be instantly killed by the blood demon wolves. There was no doubt about it. Sitting on the ground, Longao panted heavily. It seemed that his luck was not very good. In just 10 days, he had already encountered a pack of blood demon wolves. Not continuing to stay in the Thunder Forest, Longao dragged his battered body and walked towards Thunder City. At this moment, Longao finally knew that Thunder City was not ordinary. No matter what, the Thunder Kingdom was always supported by the Thunder Sect. Just this point alone made the Thunder Kingdom's position difficult to shake. As soon as he stepped into the Thunder Kingdom, Longao's whereabouts had already been discovered by various major forces, especially the Thunder Kingdom's third prince, Zhao Hao. The 32 kingdoms that had participated in the Thunder battle had all received a kill order from Zhao Hao. But in the end, Longao was still safe and sound, and he even obtained second place in the Thunder battle. Zhao Hao did not care about second place at all. He was prepared to send people to the Scarlet Fire Town to destroy the entire Long family. But in the end, before Zhao Hao could take action, the Ghost King's sect had already sent news that no matter who it was, they were not allowed to touch the Long family of the Scarlet Fire Town. The Thunder Kingdom could ignore Longao, but they could not ignore the Ghost King sect. Because of this, even if Zhao Hao had 10,000 unwillingness and anger in his heart, he did not dare to deal with the Long family. He could only vent his anger on Longao. If Longao's generation was hiding in the Scarlet Fire Town, Zhao Hao would not be able to do anything. However, now that Longao stepped into Thunder City, he first found an inn and rested for a night. After his injuries had completely stabilized, he got up and headed to the auction house. Auction house, in a simple room. Brother Long, I was just about to look for you. The third prince, Zhao Hao, has already issued a kill order. No matter who it is, as long as they can kill you, not only will they receive a great reward, they can also become the disciple of the National Guard Hall's Deputy Hall Master. It is too reckless for you to enter Thunder City now. The third prince, Zhao Meng? Hearing the third prince, Zhao Meng, continue to issue a kill order for him, Longao was somewhat surprised. According to Longao's previous thoughts, as long as he could obtain a good ranking in the Thunder battle, then the Thunder royal family would stop. However, it seemed that this matter was not that simple. However, after thinking about it, he understood. No matter what, the Thunder royal family had the support of the Sound of Thunder sect behind them. How could the third prince, Zhao Hao, resist him? Brother Lu, I know what to do. Lu Feng took a deep look at Longao. He was very clear about his character, so he did not continue to dwell on this matter. Instead, he said, Brother Long, did you come to find me for something? That's right. Longao did not hide anything and said straightforwardly, Brother Lu, I came to find you this time mainly to ask, for martial artists, what can help them improve their strength. Regarding his and Long Chang's desolation sacred body, Longao had always been annoyed. Although it was the #1 physique in cultivation, it was the #1 trash. If he wanted to improve his strength, he needed a lot of power. It seemed that relying on the power that Long Fu had refined was far from enough. It was because of this that Longao thought of Lu Feng. After all, Lu Feng was the president of the auction house. As the largest auction house in Tianzhou, he believed that there must be many treasures in the auction house that could improve one's strength. Lu Feng was not a fool. Of course, he knew what Longao wanted. After thinking about it, Lu Feng said, Brother Long, the most important thing for martial artists to improve their strength is to pay attention to their own cultivation. Relying on external objects is not the right way. Brother Long, do you understand what I'm saying? Longao nodded. How could he not understand the meaning of Lu Feng's words? However, his physique was too special. He could not cultivate like an ordinary martial artist and pay attention to his own cultivation. Brother Lu, I'm pressed for time. I just want to ask, does the auction house have it? Seeing that the other party had made up his mind, Lu Feng nodded and said, Yes, but no matter what spiritual grass it is, it must be refined into an elixir, so… Chapter 115. Elixir? Hearing Lu Feng's words, Longao was enlightened. For a long time, other than cultivating and killing, he had completely forgotten about elixirs. Brother Long, I know you are an alchemist, so if you want to increase your strength quickly, you can refine elixirs or buy elixirs. Understood. Brother Long, although elixirs can help increase a cultivator's strength, taking too much of it will only bring harm and no benefits. So, as I said before, self-cultivation is the most important. Nodding his head, Longao did not continue to stay. He left the auction house and prepared to refine elixirs. Long Yili and Duan Mulin, along with a group of thugs, coldly walked towards this side. Enemies meet on a narrow road. Longao loathed these two people, so much so that he didn't even want to look at them. Oh, isn't this our great genius, Long Yili? Brother Long, don't talk nonsense. Longao obtained second place in the thunder battle. Such a talent is simply trash. Get lost. Ignoring the two of them, Longao could clearly sense that there were two evolved cultivators among the thugs brought by the two of them. Otherwise, Long Yili and Duan Mulin would not dare to act like this. Longao, you have offended the third prince. Could it be that you intend to leave just like this? Idiot trash. You dare to scold us? Long Yili, Duan Mulin, I am truly puzzled. You two are the best among the scum. Unexpectedly you are still alive in this world. I feel sad for your mother, AI. Looking at the regretful face of the youth, Long Yili and Duan Mulin were instantly enraged. However, before the two of them could make a move, Longao had already rushed out. A figure flashed, and before the two of them could react, two miserable shrieks rang out. The two evolved cultivators they brought had already turned into two corpses. Looking at the two corpses on the ground, Long Yili and Duan Mulin were completely dumbfounded. The two of them had never imagined that the other party would dare to make a move and be so powerful, killing two evolved cultivators in one move. Longao, you, scram! Longao was already impatient, and his body emitted powerful aura, which covered the sky and covered the earth. How could they resist the pressure of Longao's aura with the strength of Duan Mulin and Long Yi? If you dare provoke me again, I'll kill you without mercy. Looking at the youngster who had turned around and left, the complexion of Long Yili and Duan Mulin was simply unsightly to the extreme. Both of them deeply looked at each other, and their face simultaneously revealed a trace of cruel and gloomy coldness. In Thunder City, other than the Thunder Imperial family, there were 3 other great clans. They were the Level 4 Long clan, Duanmu clan, and Jiang clan. Longao was very depressed. He didn't know why, but he had provoked the 4 major powers of Thunder City. It seemed like he was in a very dangerous situation. Without continuing to be entangled, Longao immediately crammed his knowledge on alchemy. As an alchemy genius, in just a few hours, he had roughly looked through many alchemy pills. After looking around, Longao discovered that there were many alchemy pills that could increase a cultivator's strength. However, they were divided into different grades. Obviously, high-grade alchemy pills were of great help to increase a cultivator's strength. Low-grade alchemy pills were of little help to increase a cultivator's strength. Among the numerous alchemy pills, Longao chose a type of pill called Rising Dragon Pill. According to the information he received, Longao already knew that alchemists were divided into different levels. From low to high, they were divided into Level 1 Alchemist, Level 2 Alchemist, Level 3 Alchemist, Level 4 Alchemist, Level 5 Alchemist, Level 6 Alchemist, Level 7 Alchemist, Level 8 Alchemist, Level 9 Alchemist, King Level Alchemist, Emperor Level Alchemist, Venerable Level Alchemist, Emperor Level Alchemist, Emperor Level Alchemist, and God Level Alchemist. Correspondingly, pills were also divided into different grades. From low to high, they were Level 1 pills, Level 2 pills, Level 3 pills, Level 4 pills, Level 5 pills, Level 6 pills, Level 7 pills, Level 8 pills, Level 9 pills, King Level pills, Emperor Level pills, Venerable Level pills, Emperor Level pills, and Divine Level pills. Thinking about his current level of alchemy, Longao helplessly knew that according to his current level of alchemy, he was at most a Tier 9 alchemist. Even so, it was impossible to refine the Rising Dragon Pill. The Rising Dragon Pill was an Emperor level pill. With his current level of alchemy, would he be able to successfully refine it? With no other choice, Longao could only go to the Alchemy Guild to see if he could buy the Rising Dragon Pill. As the saying goes, if you don't see it, you won't know. Once he saw it, he was shocked. The price of one Rising Dragon Pill was too expensive. Not to mention a few, he couldn't even afford one. In the end, Longao decided to give up on the pill and wait until he could refine the Rising Dragon Pill in the future. Longao had just returned to the inn when he was summoned by the Thunder Imperial family. Longao wasn't a fool. Of course, he knew that he was in Thunder City. If he didn't go, the consequences would be unimaginable. Thunder Imperial family. As the absolute overlord of the Thunder Empire, the Thunder Imperial family's position was unshakable. In a pavilion in the back garden, Longao came to the pavilion and found that there were only 2 people. One of them was a middle-aged man wearing a yellow robe with a dignified face. There was no need to guess. Longao already knew that this middle-aged man should be the Thunder Empire's emperor, Zhao Mang. Longao pays his respects to your majesty. Longao didn't kneel. Zhao Mang didn't seem to mind. He smiled and said, Longao, come and sit. Let me introduce you. This is the National Guard Hall's Hall Master, Gu Bai. The National Guard Hall's Hall Master, Gu Bai? Longao seemed a little surprised because he knew very well that the National Guard Hall of the Thunder Empire and the National Guard Hall of the Star Cloud Kingdom were fundamentally different. It wasn't just strength, but also status and identity. Longao didn't have the slightest trace of politeness. He sat in the pavilion, picked up the teacup on the stone table, took a sip, and praised. Good tea. Gu Bai and Zhao Meng seemed a little surprised to see that Longao didn't have the slightest trace of restraint. At this time, Gu Bai said, Longao, this time you won the 2nd place of the Thunder Battle and entered the 70th place of the 100 Battle ranking. I am now officially inviting you to join the Thunder Empire Guard Hall. I don't know if you are interested. It would be strange if an ordinary person wasn't happy to receive Gu Bai's invitation. However, Longao was very calm because he had already guessed that the Thunder Empire Guard Hall would invite him since he won the second place of the Thunder Battle. Hall Master, I believe you all know about the matter between me and the National Guard Hall. To be honest, I no longer trust any National Guard Hall. Therefore, I have decided that from now on, I will not join any National Guard Hall. Gu Bai and Zhao Meng naturally knew about the matter between Longao and the National Guard Hall. Gu Bai smiled and said, "The Star Cloud Kingdom is indeed in the wrong. However, Longao, I can assure you that as long as you join the Thunder Empire Guard Hall, no matter what happens, the National Guard Hall will not abandon you. If I violate this promise, may the heavens and earth destroy me." Chapter 116. He was very surprised. Longao never thought that Gu Bai would say that. But could he really agree? The answer was obviously no. With an apologetic expression, Longao spoke the truth. "I believe the hall leader's words. But I'm still very sorry, I can't join the Thunder Nation Guardian Hall." Longao thought that Gu Bai would be angry, but he didn't expect that Gu Bai wasn't angry. Instead, he smiled and said, "I understand." Zhao Meng, who had been silent all this time, suddenly said, "Longao, we know about your situation, so we won't force you. As for what Howard did to you before, I've already stopped him." Longao didn't say anything because he didn't like Xiao Hao very much. But seeing Xiao Hao's old man like this, Longao didn't continue to argue. Not to mention, with his current strength, he couldn't fight against the entire Thunder Nation. Not to mention, the Thunder Nation had the Thunder Sect's support. "Your Majesty, you called me here this time, is there something you need?" Longao wasn't a fool. Of course, he could hear the hidden meaning in Zhao Meng's words. It couldn't be just for this matter. As expected, Zhao Meng and Gu Bai looked at each other. Zhao Meng said, "Longao, you should have heard of the Fire Nation, right?" Longao nodded. Of course, he wasn't unfamiliar with the Fire Nation. As one of the two great empires in Tianzhou, the Fire Nation and the Thunder Nation were absolute overlords of Tianzhou. The two empires jointly controlled the entire Tianzhou. Longao was curious. He didn't know why Zhao Meng suddenly mentioned the Fire Nation to him. "Longao, I'll get straight to the point. Within Tianzhou, there are only two great empires that can dominate, the Fire Nation and the Thunder Nation. Every few years, the two empires will hold a war for supremacy. During the war, the winner can obtain the treasures of both empires." War for supremacy? Longao still didn't understand. What did the war between the Fire Nation and the Thunder Nation have to do with him? Every war of hegemony is actually a battle between the two empires to gain face. In the last 3 war of hegemony, our Thunder Empire has already lost 3 times in a row. Thus, in this war of hegemony, we can only win, not lose. Your Majesty, does this have anything to do with me? Both empires will send out 20 Xiantian realm martial artists to participate in every war of supremacy. Therefore, I hope that you can represent the Thunder Empire in this war of supremacy. Here comes the main topic. Longao also hadn't expected that Zhao Meng would allow him to represent the Thunder Empire in the struggle for supremacy. Before Longao could speak, Zhao Meng said, "Longao, as long as you can represent the Thunder Empire in the war of hegemony, you can make 2 requests. Your Majesty, can I ask you a question?" "Sure. There are many experts in the Thunder Empire. Why choose me?" Longao was very puzzled by this. The Thunderclap Empire was filled with experts, and even had the support of the Thunderclap sect. Since that was the case, why would Zhao Meng come looking for him? After all, he wasn't invincible. Chuckling, Zhao Meng said, "Longao, I've already investigated your potential and strength. Only Xiantian martial artists are allowed to participate in the struggle for hegemony between the two countries. And among Xiantian martial artists, your strength should be able to help the Thunder Empire. So that's how it is." When all was said and done, the 20 people each country could send out could only be Xiantian martial artists. As for transformation realm martial artists, they couldn't participate. Longao, what do you think? Longao smiled helplessly in his heart. He was very clear that since Zhao Meng had already come looking for him, it seemed he was determined to win. If he refused, would that work? Helpless, Longao nodded and said, Your Majesty, I can agree. I have 2 conditions. The first condition is that the Thunder Empire must fully support the development of Scarlet Flame Town, but Scarlet Flame Town must still exist independently. No problem. Within 3 years, Scarlet Flame Town will surpass Star Cloud City. Zhao Meng didn't even think about it, and directly agreed. This matter was simply a drop in the bucket for Thunder Empire. The second condition is that the Thunder Empire will give me 100 Rising Dragon Pills. I want them now. 100 Rising Dragon Pills was an exorbitant demand. The value of 100 Rising Dragon Pills was simply too great. But Longao was very clear in his heart that 100 Rising Dragon Pills might be impossible for him, but to the Thunder Empire, it was nothing. Zhao Meng thought for a moment and asked, Longao, I'll ask you this. What do you need so many Rising Dragon Pills for? To increase my strength. Gu Bai, who was at the side, suddenly said, Longao, I want to remind you that if you take too many Tinglong Dan, not only will it not have any benefits, it will also hinder your cultivation speed. 3 Tinglong Dan is enough, and it is also the most suitable for you. Longao naturally knew that Gu Bai had good intentions. He smiled and said, Your Majesty, Hall Master, I know what to do. Good, since that's the case, 100 Rising Dragon Pills isn't a problem. You'll officially set off in 10 days, so you have 10 days to properly cultivate. Since things had already reached this point, Longao didn't continue to stay. He took the 100 Rising Dragon Pills and turned to leave. Brother Gu, Longao is only in the fusion realm. Is he really qualified to represent the Thunder Empire in the struggle for supremacy? Nodding his head, Gu Bai said, This child's talent and potential are top-notch. Moreover, the person that the Ghost King has taken a fancy to should have some outstanding aspects. Your Majesty, this child will represent the Thunder Empire in the war between the 2 countries. Perhaps he can really turn the tables for us. Zhao Meng still seemed a little uneasy, but since Gu Bai had already said so, he couldn't say anything more. Your Majesty, don't worry. I have confidence in this child. It's just that the 3rd prince, Zhao Meng waved his hand, seemingly disliking this son of his very much. He said angrily, Useless thing. If it wasn't for the Thunder Sect, I would have crippled this thing long ago. Our imperial family's face is completely lost. Your Majesty, you still can't let go of that matter. How can I let go? That matter is the shame of my life. Sooner or later, I will definitely get it back. Looking at His Majesty beside him, Gu Bai sighed deeply and said, Your Majesty, with the strength and foundation of the Thunder Sect, it's almost impossible for us to break away from them. Zhao Meng waved his hand and his expression returned to normal. He suddenly smiled and said, Of course I know that with our current strength, it's impossible for us to break away from the Thunder Sect. But our opportunity is coming. As long as the old ancestor comes out of seclusion, we might be able to break away. Old ancestor? At first, Gu Bai was overjoyed. Then, his expression turned serious again. Even if the old ancestor comes out of seclusion, can the Thunder Empire really break away from the Thunder Sect? Chapter 117. After leaving the back garden, just as Longao was about to leave, a youth walked towards him. His face was cold, and his expression was as ugly as it could be. Longao, consider yourself lucky this time, but don't think that I will let you go. Zhao Hao, you are the Empire's 3rd prince? Zhao Hao didn't know what Longao meant by this, but he still nodded and asked, So what if I am? With a contemptuous smile, Longao said, And here I thought you were a street hoodlum. I always thought that with your patriotism, dedication, and backbone, you would look like a person. But now, I realize that I was wrong. You. Without waiting for Zhao Hao to say anything, Longao continued. A person is cheap for life, a pig is cheap with a knife. For someone like you, living is a waste of air. I believe that when you die, you will also be a waste of land. Sad, sad. Hearing this, Zhao Hao was instantly enraged. As the third prince of the Thunder Empire, who dared to speak to him like this? But due to Zhao Meng's orders, Zhao Hao could only be angry and didn't dare to do anything. A prince was a prince. His status was always below the emperor. However, Zhao Hao sneered and said, Longao, if it weren't for Imperial Father's orders, you would already be dead. Trash. Ha ha ha, Zhao Hao, can you do it with just you? Seeing the contempt on Zhao Hao's face, Zhao Hao was clearly enraged. However, Zhao Hao was no fool. He knew very well that with his strength, he was simply no match for the other party. Clenching his fists tightly, Zhao Hao suddenly sneered and said, Longao, I heard that this time, you will be representing the imperial family in the struggle for power between the two countries. I advise you to be careful in everything you do. Otherwise, when the time comes, you won't even know how you died. Longao couldn't be bothered with Zhao Hao. He was just a parasite that relied on the imperial family to commit crimes. He turned and left. Looking at the gradually disappearing figure, Zhao Hao's lips curled into a sinister smile. He muttered to himself, Longao, I will make you regret this. After leaving the Thunder Imperial family, Longao used his fastest speed to find an extremely secluded place. 10 days. 10 days later, he would be representing the Thunder Empire in the struggle for power between the two countries. Therefore, in these 10 days, every bit of strength increase was a little bit. 100 Rising Dragon Pills. Longao knew that he couldn't consume 100 Rising Dragon Pills at the same time. In the Dragon Seal space. Long Fu, do you have a way to refine the 100 Rising Dragon Pills in my hands into energy that I can absorb? Nodding his head, Long Fu said, Master, it's possible. As long as you put all 100 Rising Dragon Pills into the blood pool, you'll be able to refine energy for your cultivation. Longao didn't ask any questions about the blood pool because he knew that even if he asked, Long Fu might not tell him. Since that was the case, why bother? Long Fu, how long will it take to refine 100 Rising Dragon Pills? 3 days. Nodding his head, 3 days was nothing to a cultivator. After leaving the Dragon Seal space, Longao returned to the inn. He was stopped by a person. It was Long Ili, who he had beaten away during the day. At this moment, Longao finally released his killing intent. He coldly said, Long Ili, do you really think I don't dare to kill you? Do you dare? Longao still suppressed his impulse. After all, the Long family behind Long Ili was a 4th-rank family. It wasn't something a 6th-rank family could compare to. Long family was a powerful family in the Martial Sky continent. They had countless branches and were divided into 9 ranks. A 9th-rank family was the lowest, and a 1st-rank family was the highest. Furthermore, a 3rd-rank Long family could enter the Dragon Valley and find a dragon as a companion to become a dragon warrior. If he was alone, Longao wouldn't have the slightest misgivings. But no matter what, he had a family behind him. He couldn't implicate his sect. Longao, I didn't come to find trouble with you. I heard that you're going to represent the Thunder Imperial family in the Battle of the Two Empires. Longao wasn't surprised at all because he already had a general understanding of the war of hegemony between the two empires. The Thunder National Guard Hall wasn't the only one participating in the war of hegemony between the two empires. Even the 3 great clans would send experts to participate. In other words, the Thunder Imperial family and the 3 great families would be sending out 20 people. So what if I am? Nothing, I just want to make a deal with you. How about it? Deal? Longao was very surprised. He didn't know why, but he felt that the current Long Ili was different from the hedonistic young master he had seen during the day. What deal? I know your strength and potential. I also know a thing or two about you. So, the deal is very simple. In the battle of the two empires, you help me kill someone. You can name any price you want. Kill someone? Who? Longao wasn't a fool. Of course, he wouldn't agree immediately. Who knew who Long Ili wanted to kill? If it was a transformation realm cultivator, not to mention killing the other party, it would be good enough if he didn't get killed. Long Jing, an elder of my rank for Long family. He's also my father's enemy. Now I just want to ask if you agree to this deal? Long Jing also wants to participate in the battle of the two empires? Yes. Although Long Ili didn't say it explicitly, Long Ao already knew Long Jing's strength. This was because there was an agreement between the Fire Empire and the Thunder Empire. In every battle of the two empires, the participants of each empire couldn't exceed the Consolidation Realm. In other words, warriors of the Transformation Realm weren't allowed to participate. With Long Ao's current strength, he wasn't afraid of a Consolidation Realm warrior at all. If he added Long Chang, it was even possible to kill a Consolidation Realm warrior. The question now was, why would he provoke the Long family and a Consolidation Realm warrior because of Long Ili? Once this matter was exposed, the consequences would be unimaginable. Long Ao, as long as you agree to this, I will also agree to one of your conditions, no matter what it is. Long Ili, why are you so sure that I can kill Long Jing? If there are no accidents, Long Jing should be a Consolidation Realm warrior, and I'm only at the Fusion Realm. Haha, Long Ao, you don't have to ask any more questions. You just have to answer, are you willing to make a deal with me? Long Ao thought for a while and finally asked. I can agree, but you have to agree to two of my conditions. First, I can name your conditions. Second, you have to fulfill my conditions now. How about it? No problem, I promise you. Without even thinking, Long Ili directly agreed. Chapter 118. Although Long Ao put forward two conditions, it was actually one condition, but the premise was that he had to fulfill it immediately. Long Ili, my condition is very simple. If I help you kill Long Jing, you have to give me 1,000 Tinglong pills. What did you say? Long Ili seemed to have not reacted. After all, he knew better than anyone what 1,000 Tinglong pills meant. Long Ao, are you out of your mind? You actually want 1,000 Tinglong pills? Do you really think I have to find you? Long Ili was clearly enraged. What kind of joke was this? 1,000 Rising Dragon Dawn? Not to mention him, even if it was the 4th rank Long family or even the Thunder Imperial family, wanting to take out 1,000 Rising Dragon Dawn was not an easy matter. Long Ao still had an indifferent expression and said indifferently, Long Ili, you have to remember that you are begging me now, not me begging you. 1,000 Tinglong pills, not one less. Before Long Ili could speak, Long Ao continued. 1,000 Tinglong pills can let my cultivation break through to the Consolidation Realm. At that time, I have full confidence that I can help you kill Long Jing. Whether you agree or not depends on you, not on me. 1,000 Tinglong pills. Long Ili really wanted to agree, but he really could not take out 1,000 Tinglong pills. Could it be that he had to give up just like that? But one had to know that he had waited for this opportunity for a full 10 years. If he gave up, who knew when he would get another opportunity? So Long Ili told himself that no matter what happened, he could not give up. Long Jing must die. Thinking of this, Long Ili said, Long Ao, I know that you want 1,000 Tinglong pills to increase your strength. How about this? I will use other treasures to replace them, how about it? Hearing Long Ili's words, Long Ao was very surprised and asked, Let me hear it. If I am satisfied, I can replace it. I don't have 1,000 Tinglong pills, but I have a 10,000-year-old blood Lingji. Even if its value is not worth 1,000 Tinglong pills, I believe it will be of great help to you to increase your strength. 10,000-year-old blood Lingji? What the hell was that? Longao did not know what the 10,000-year-old bloodlingji was. Master, promise him. Hearing Long Fu's words, Longao's heart moved, but before he agreed, he asked, Long Ili, there is one thing that I am very suspicious of. Since you possess the 10,000 years old bloodlingji, why did you give it to me? Why didn't you consume it? Or find someone else to take it? As if he had already guessed that Longao would ask such a question, Long Ili didn't feel the slightest bit surprised. Firstly, with my strength, once I consume the 10,000-year bloodlingji, my body will immediately explode and I will die. Longao agreed with this point. After all, the treasure that Long Fu had taken a fancy to was at the level of the 10,000-year-old bloodlingji. Secondly, if I were to look for an expert, who would I look for if they took my 10,000 years old bloodlingji but didn't fulfill the agreement? If you look for someone weak, not only will it be useless, you will also lose a 10,000-year-old bloodlingji. Originally, Longao still had questions, but after hearing Long Ili's words, he nodded his head and said, I will ask you one last question. Why did you choose me? I don't know why, but I just think that you can avenge me. It's that simple? It's that simple. Deal. Longao didn't continue to speak nonsense. If he were to give up such a good thing, even he would feel sorry for himself. He said, I want the 10,000-year-old bloodlingji now. Long Ili didn't continue to speak, but turned around and left. Longao was somewhat impatient. He returned to the tavern and communicated with the dragon mark with his soul. He immediately entered the dragon mark space and impatiently asked, Long Fu, you know about the 10,000-year-old bloodlingji? Yes, master. The 10,000-year-old bloodlingji is 10 times more valuable than the 100 rising dragon pellets you just gave me. Moreover, it is more beneficial for you and Long Chang to cultivate. Hearing this, Longao was delighted and said, Since it is like this, I will leave the matter of refining the 100 rising dragon pellets and the 10,000-year-old bloodlingji to you. Long Fu, remember one thing, you must be fast. No problem, master, please be at ease. After leaving the dragon seal space, Longao sat in an inn, ordered some breakfast, and ate a simple meal. Long Ili left quickly and returned quickly. In a short half an hour, he had already returned with the 10,000-year-old bloodlingji. He said, Longao, I hope you can abide by the agreement between us. If you don't believe me, we can immediately cancel our agreement. When he turned around and left, Long Ili's voice was transmitted. Longao, I hope you don't disappoint me. Otherwise, I will not let you off. Looking at the figure gradually disappearing into the distance, Longao's eyes began to gradually cool down. He had already discovered that Long Ili wasn't like his usual self, hiding his strength deeply. Longao didn't continue to think about what kind of person Long Ili was. He only knew one thing, and that was to help Long Ili kill Long Jing. Then, he would be able to obtain the 10,000-year-old bloodlingji. Not daring to have the slightest hesitation, Longao immediately sent the 10,000-year-old bloodlingji he had just obtained into the dragon mark space. He was pleasantly surprised. Longao was very clear in his heart that once Long Fu finished refining the 100 rising dragon pills and the 10,000-year-old bloodlingji, not only him, but even Xiao Chang would be able to increase his strength. The sacred desolation physique required a large amount of energy to be poured in. Now, there were two sacred desolation physiques walking together. The amount of energy required was astronomical. After dealing with the problem of energy, Longao had two things to do next. The first thing was to absorb the energy refined from the blood pool in 3 days, and quickly increase his strength. The second thing was to participate in the Battle of the Two Nations in 10 days. Not only did he have to obtain a ranking, but he also had to kill Long Jing. Brother, are you called Brother Longao? Looking at the little girl who had suddenly appeared in front of him, Longao was very curious. He squatted down and asked in an extremely gentle voice, Little sister, my name is Longao. Are you looking for me for something? The little girl's chubby smiling face suddenly stretched out her hand and said immaturely, "Brother Longao, someone asked me to bring you a message, but you have to give me 100 gold coins first." 100 gold coins? Longao was very curious. He didn't know who was looking for him. Out of curiosity, he took out 100 gold coins from his bosom and gave it to the little girl. He asked, "Little sister, what is it?" "Brother Longao, that person asked me to bring you a message. He said that he wants you to meet him at the moon-gazing tower in 10 minutes. Looking at the little girl who had turned around and left, Longao became even more curious. Moon-gazing tower? Longao suddenly thought, could it be a trick played by the third prince, Zhao Hao? That shouldn't be the case. Zhao Hao was only a prince. How could he dare to cause trouble for him so openly? Was he not afraid of Zhao Meng's reprimand? However, even if that was the case, Longao still walked toward the moon-gazing tower, a very famous scenic spot in Thunder City. Chapter 119. Moon-Gazing Pagoda. Moon-Gazing Pagoda, Thunder City's most famous scenic spot. Every year, many people would come to see the moon-gazing pagoda. Longao arrived at the moon-gazing pagoda and looked at the 9-story pagoda. Even now, Longao still couldn't figure out who would invite him here. Was it really the third prince Zhao Hao? Longao had been thinking about this question the whole time as he walked. He realized that this was almost an impossible thing. If it really was the third prince Zhao Hao, why would he look for a little girl? 9-story moon-gazing pagoda. Since he was already here, Longao didn't continue. He finally took a step forward, one floor after another. After a few minutes, he finally arrived at the top of the moon-gazing pagoda. At this moment, Longao finally realized that something was wrong. As Thunder City's most famous scenic spot, the moon-gazing pagoda could be said to be filled with a sea of people, even a little crowded. But now, the entire moon-gazing pagoda, from the 1st to the 9th floor, was empty. In the entire Thunder City, there were only 2 people who could do this. One was the Thunder Imperial family's emperor, Zhao Meng, and the other was the Thunder National Guardian Hall's Hall Master, Gu Bai. "Since you asked me to come here, why don't you show yourself?" No one answered. "If you still don't show yourself, then I'll leave first." Longao turned around and prepared to leave. This move of retreating in order to advance was very effective. With a p sound, Aoshua slowly walked out with her hand covering her mouth. Seeing Aoshua, Longao was stunned at first, then he smiled. Seeing Aoshua at this time, it was indeed a wonderful thing to send charcoal in snowy weather. What's more, Aoshua was the woman who took his first time. Just this point alone, Aoshua, this woman, he would never forget for the rest of his life. "Longao, you just saw me. Are you going to leave?" "How would I know it was you?" Coming to Aoshua's side, Longao asked curiously. "Aoshua, how did you do it?" Aoshua certainly understood the meaning of Longao's words. He smiled mysteriously and said, "Don't worry. Although the Thunder Empire has the support of the Sound of Thunder sect, they have to give face to the Ghost King sect. I'm only using the moon-gazing pagoda for a day. The Thunder Imperial family won't refuse." This was power, this was a foundation. Longao knew very well that if it was just Aoshua alone, it would be impossible to achieve this. All of this was because of the Ghost King sect behind Aoshua. Longao still wanted to say something, but Aoshua hushed him. After that, neither of them continued to speak. They stood quietly on the 9th floor of the moon-gazing tower, looking at the setting sun in the distance. The sun was setting in the west, leaving behind a red glow on the horizon. The glow of the sunset sprinkled on the calm ground, causing the ground to shine with a brilliant radiance. A gentle breeze blew across the country, causing layers of ripples to appear on the ground. Each ripple was jumping, as if there were countless pairs of golden eyes blinking. It was very beautiful. Dusk finally left, and darkness gradually descended. Aoshua stretched and said with a sigh, The sunset is the most beautiful. Longao, I heard that you're going to participate in the war between the two countries? Longao didn't hide anything from Ashue. He nodded and said, Yes. Listen to me, immediately withdraw from the war between the two countries. This matter won't benefit you at all. Looking at Ashue's serious face, Longao was very curious. He asked in confusion, Ashue, why? Longao, you don't know. The Fire Empire and the Thunder Empire both have sects behind them. The war between the two countries is actually a battle between the Fire sect and the Thunder sect. If you lose, your life will be in danger. If you win, not only will you offend the Fire Empire, you will also offend the Fire sect. Why do you want to do something that will put you in an awkward situation? So that's how it is. Thinking about Ashue's words, Longao felt that this matter was indeed very troublesome. After all, the war between the Fire Empire and the Thunder Empire was related to the reputation of the two sections. Whether he won or lost, it would be a troublesome matter. Before this, Longao indeed hadn't thought about these problems. If he knew that this matter would be so troublesome, he wouldn't have agreed no matter what. However, Longao was very clear that since he had already agreed, he had to see it through to the end. A person must have integrity. It was because of this that Longao said, Ashue, I've already made up my mind. No matter what, I will participate in the war between the two countries in 10 days. Ashue understood Longao's character very well. Although she was a bit worried, she said, Longao, you must remember, don't be reckless. Don't stick your head out. Do your best to hide yourself. Understand? Longao naturally knew that Ashue was doing this for his own good. He nodded and promised, Don't worry, I will keep my life. Just like this, Ashue and Longao left the moon-gazing tower. In the next minute, the originally empty moon-gazing tower was once again filled with a sea of people. 80% of the people were cursing, but they didn't dare to say anything. After all, the one who sealed the moon-gazing tower was the Thunder Imperial family. Longao was very surprised by Ashue's sudden appearance this time, but more than that, he felt warm. Returning to the inn, Longao didn't continue to wander around. Instead, he quietly stayed in the inn and cultivated. In the blink of an eye, 2 days had passed. The third day, dusk. Long Fu had successfully refined 100 rising dragon pills and 10,000 years old blood Lingji mushrooms. They turned into a powerful force that continuously entered Long Ao and Long Chang's bodies. The crazy influx of power made Long Ao and Long Chang not dare to be careless. Whether it was Long Ao or Long Chang, they knew very well that this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for the two of them. Long Ao and Long Chang both had the desolate saint body. The amount of power they needed was definitely a terrifying number. However, the power refined from 100 rising dragon pills and 10,000 years old blood Lingji mushrooms was a very large existence. It was enough for Long Ao and Long Chang to absorb. However, Long Ao and Long Chang weren't fools. Of course, they knew that it was impossible for them to absorb all of it. If that was the case, not only would it not benefit them, but it would also be harmful. It was precisely because of this that Long Ao and Long Chang only absorbed 1/3 of it. They were both cultivating and preparing for a breakthrough. In just 5 days, Long Ao and Long Chang's cultivation had both broken through to the peak of the fusion realm. They were only one step away from officially breaking through to the consolidation realm. However, time didn't allow for it. After all, the next day was the battle between the two countries. Today, the emissaries of the Fire Empire would enter Thunder City. On the 9th day, there was only 1 day left before the battle between the two countries. As the emissary of the Thunder Empire, Long Ao was summoned into the palace by the Thunder Imperial family. In the main hall, Zhao Mang sat on the dragon throne while Gu Bai sat beside him. Below them, besides the princes, were the 20 participants of the battle between the two countries. Long Ao stood at the back. Looking at the 19 people in front of him, he had a rough understanding of them. Of the 19 people, 10 were from the Thunder Imperial family. The remaining 9 were from the 3 major families. Including himself, there were 20 people in total. Chapter 120. Longjing? Looking at the Longjing that Long Ili was talking about, Longao's lips curled into a cold smile. Cough, cough. At this time, Zhao Mang suddenly said, "Everyone here is the cornerstone of my Thunder Empire. This time, you will be representing my Thunder Empire in the struggle for supremacy between the 2 countries." The 20 people who represented the Thunder Empire in the war were all unification martial artists. Only Longao was a fusion martial artist. Because of this, the 19 people looked down on Longao. But because of Zhao Mang, they couldn't say anything. "Everyone, the envoy from the Flame Empire will arrive soon. Follow me to welcome them." The location of the war changed. This time, the war was held in the Flame Empire. The next war would be held in the Thunder Empire. This time, it was the Thunder Empire's turn. Then, Zhao Mang and Gu Bai personally led Longao, the 20 people, and the princes out of the hall. They stood at the entrance of the palace, waiting for the envoy from the Flame Empire. After a while, the sound of horse hooves came from afar. Then, 20 tall horses rushed over. Even after entering the market, they didn't seem to have any intention of slowing down. Seeing this, Zhao Mang, Gu Bai, and the others' expressions changed. But because of the Flame Empire, they could only endure it. The Flame Empire was one of the 2 great empires in Tianzhou. This time, the Flame Empire sent a total of 22 people. Other than the 20 who were participating in the war, there was also the deputy head of the Flame Empire's National Guard Hall, Gu Feng, and Prince Dongfang Suo. Longao had a basic understanding of the 22 people's identity and strength. Because of this, he was curious. When he participated in the Thunder Battle, he killed the deputy head of the Thunder National Guard Hall, Qiaoqing, who was only a peak fusion warrior. But what about the Flame Empire? The deputy head of the Flame Empire was a unification warrior. How could a warrior at the peak of the fusion stage become the deputy hall master of the Thunder National Guard Hall? After a while, the envoy from the Flame Empire entered the palace. Zhao Mang received him personally and said with a smile, "The Thunder Empire welcomes the envoy from the Flame Empire." "Ha ha ha, Your Majesty is too polite. His Majesty asked me to take care." Zhao Mang's expression became indifferent. He turned and left. Gu Feng shrugged, not minding, and followed him. Inside the main hall, as soon as everyone took their seats, both sides started introducing each other. The Fire Empire and Thunder Empire had 20 people each. It could be said that whether it was the 20 people from the Flame Empire or the Thunder Empire, they were all elites among elites of the 2 empires. Out of the 40 people from the Fire Empire and the Thunder Empire who were participating in the war, 39 of them were unification warriors. Only one person, Longao from the Thunder Empire, was a fusion warrior. The 22 people from the Fire Empire seemed to be surprised. They could not understand why the Thunder Empire would send out a fusion martial artist. Humph, the Thunder Empire is getting more and more useless. Looks like our Flame Empire is going to win the championship 4 times in a row. How boring. What the F***ck are you talking about there? It was a rare sight for a unification realm warrior to scold someone. However, at this moment, although the war between the 2 countries had not officially begun, the 2 empires were already surging with undercurrents. Am I wrong? The Thunder Empire actually sent out a fusion martial artist to participate in the war between the 2 countries. I don't know if the Thunder Empire is useless or if they have lost their confidence, and dare not continue to fight with our Flame Empire. Yes, if the Thunder Empire gives up, we will announce to the world that you lost and not ran away in fear. Insolent! Gu Bai's face turned cold as a powerful aura emanated from his body, directly suppressing the entire area. Of the 40 over people present, not a single one was able to withstand it. It was like an ant facing an elephant. Metamorphosis Realm Warrior. Feeling the powerful aura emitted from Gu Bai's body, Longao's heart moved. He had already guessed that Gu Bai was a transformed martial artist who was above the Xiantian martial artists. No wonder Gu Bai could become the Hall Master of the Thunder National Guard Hall. The Fire Empire is too presumptuous. Whoever the Thunder Empire sends to participate in the war between the two countries is our business. What does it have to do with the Fire Empire? The 22 people from the Fire Empire were speechless. None of them dared to say a word. No matter what, they were still part of the Thunder Empire. What if the other party really went crazy and killed all 22 of them? The aura of a Metamorphosis Realm Warrior was terrifying. It was impossible for a mere Xiantian Realm Warrior to withstand it. However, Gu Bai only released it for a few minutes before choosing to give up. No matter what, the 22 people represented the Fire Empire. If they were killed without participating in the war between the two countries, the consequences would be severe. Zhao Mang suddenly laughed and said heartily, "The war between the two countries will begin tomorrow. The 22 of you can go and rest first." It wasn't easy for someone to come out and smooth things over. The 22 people didn't dare to stay any longer. One after another, they ran away faster than rabbits. In the blink of an eye, they had disappeared without a trace. Longao looked at all this coldly. From the moment he decided to participate in the war between the two countries, he was already prepared to bear all this. Fusion Realm Warriors, among the 19 Unification Realm Warriors, were indeed like cranes in a flock of chickens. However, Longao didn't care. Longao was full of confidence. With his current strength, even if he met a Unification Realm Warrior, he would definitely be able to fight. If he could join forces with Long Chan, even killing a Unification Realm Warrior would be a piece of cake. It was precisely because of this that Longao wasn't worried in the slightest. "Longao, you can treat the Fire Empire's words as nonsense. Tomorrow, in the war between the two countries, everything depends on you. Everything depends on you." Gu Bai's words caused an uproar. After all, Longao was the only Fusion Realm Warrior among the 20 people. What right did Longao have to rely on you? Upon hearing Gu Bai's words, Longao's heart turned cold. He wasn't a fool. Of course, he could understand the meaning behind Gu Bai's words. Could Gu Bai want to harm him? After thinking about it, Longao felt that this wasn't quite possible. No matter what, Gu Bai was still the Hall Master of the Thunder Nation Protection Hall. If he wanted to deal with him, there was no need for him to do so. He just had to do it openly. Furthermore, Gu Bai had the support of the Thunder Nation and the National Guard Hall behind him. If he wanted to deal with him, it would be a piece of cake. What exactly did Gu Bai mean? Sure enough, as soon as Gu Bai finished speaking, the 19 members who were participating in the battle for supremacy glared at Longao. Each and every one of them looked like fiends, wishing that they could go up and bite him to death. Chapter 121. Inside the main hall. Only Zhao Mang and Gu Bai were left in the main hall. Zhao Mang's expression was grave as he asked, "Brother Gu, what is the meaning of this?" Gu Bai naturally knew what Zhao Mang meant. He replied coldly, "Your Majesty, this brat is too daring. He actually killed Xiao Qing and the other 3. If I don't do something, how can I answer to the National Guard Hall?" If Longao was present, he would definitely be shocked to hear Gu Bai's words. Back then, when Longao killed Xiao Qing and the other 3 in the Thunder Forest, no one saw it. However, every member of the National Guard Hall had a special connection. Before Xiao Qing died, he had already sent the news back to the National Guard Hall. "Brother Gu, this matter has already passed. Why don't we just let it go?" "Your Majesty, I will deal with this matter." Seeing Gu Bai leave, Zhao Mang sighed deeply. However, between the National Guard Hall and Longao, he would definitely choose Gu Bai and the National Guard Hall, not Longao. No matter how great Longao's potential was, it was impossible for him to compare to a transformation realm martial artist and the entire National Guard Hall. Originally, under normal circumstances, all 20 of them were not allowed to leave the imperial family today. However, Longao did not want to continue staying in the imperial family. He looked at the city wall behind him and muttered to himself, "Goodbye, I won't be tricked by you." Longao was not a fool. He naturally knew that Gubai was hostile towards him. After thinking about it, Longao could only think of one possibility. That was when he killed the 4 members of the National Guard Hall in the Thunder Forest. One of them was the Vice Hall Master, Xiao Qing. Longao was very afraid of Gubai. No matter what, Gubai was still the Hall Master of the National Guard Hall. He was also a transformation realm martial artist. If he kept thinking about him, he would be in big trouble. "Brother Long, I finally found you." Hearing someone call him, Longao turned around and happily said, "Quan Gao, why are you here?" The person who came was none other than Quan Gao, one of Longao's only friends. "Let's go. I have something to tell you." "Okay." Longao was very curious. He did not know why Domineering Blade was looking for him. Following which, the two of them found a secluded restaurant and ordered a table full of dishes. After drinking a few cups, they started chatting. "Domineering Pride, why are you looking for me?" He nodded and said arrogantly, "Brother Long, I didn't expect you to be ranked 70th on the 100 battle ranking. You're now famous in Tianzhou." Longao smiled and did not say anything. After all, in his opinion, 70th place on the 100 battle ranking list was not a big deal. It was not the 7th place on the 100 battle ranking list, or even the 1st place. "Brother Long, let's get down to business." "This time, I came to find you for 3 things." "What 3 things?" "Brother Long, the first thing I want to tell you is that your family is safe and sound." It would be a lie to say that he was not moved. After all, Domineering Blade was only a friend if he could tell him that he was safe. Longao did not speak. Everything was in silence. "The second thing is that you are now 70th on the 100 battle ranking list, so you have to be careful everywhere. Not only do people want to challenge you and take your place on the 100 battle ranking list, but even those who are ranked in the top will also challenge you." He seemed to be a little surprised. Longao could not understand. Some people wanted to challenge him for a place on the 100 battle ranking list, but why would those who were ranked high on the 100 battle ranking list also want to challenge him? Domineering Pride, why is that? Brother Long, your story has spread throughout the entire Tianzhou. From a genius to a good-for-nothing, you persevered for 10 years and finally rose up. In just a few months, you have reached the 70th place of the 100 battle ranking. How many people in the entire Tianzhou can achieve this? Domineering Pride, get to the point. Longao did not want to listen to flattery. Brother Long, because of your strong rise and the fact that you are ranked 70th on the 100 battle ranking list, those who are ranked higher than you want to challenge you and defeat you to show off their strength. So that was it. Longao was not worried at all. He said, "I will deal with whatever comes my way. No matter who wants to challenge me, I will wait." Domineering Pride was not surprised at all, because he knew Longao's character very well. Otherwise, Longao could not have successfully occupied 70th on the 100 battle ranking list in just a few months. Brother Long, the third thing is that I have received reliable news. The Long family of the 5th level in Star Cloud City said that you entered the Dragon Valley without permission and were recognized by the Dragon Egg to become a Dragon Warrior, so... Dragon Warrior? Hearing Domineering Pride's words, Longao was shocked. He was not a fool. Of course, he knew that this was not a joke. Entering the Dragon Valley without permission, being recognized by the Dragon Egg, and becoming a Dragon Warrior meant something. The Long family of the 5th level in Star Cloud City. Longao immediately understood the intentions of the 5th level Long family. Previously, he and Long Ming had obtained the Dragon Egg at the same time, but Long Ming and the Fire Dragon were both killed by him. How could the fifth-level Long family and Longing be willing to accept this? But with his current strength and identity, Longing knew that it was impossible for him to kill him. In that case, he could only reveal that he was a dragon warrior. Then, he would not need to do anything. The higher-level Long family would find trouble with him. Long family in the Dragon Valley had a clear rule. Only the third level and above of the Long family could enter the Dragon Valley to choose a partner and become a dragon warrior. In other words, if the Long family below the third level entered the Dragon Valley without permission, they would be killed by the Long family. No one was an exception. So the intention of the Long family in Star Cloud City was clear. Brother Long, I should not ask about this, but I still want to ask. Are you really a dragon warrior? Since things had come to this point, Longao did not continue to hide it. He nodded and said, I entered the Dragon Valley by accident and was recognized by the dragon egg to become a dragon warrior. Hearing the confirmation, Kwang-ao was shocked. Of course, Kwang-ao knew what being a dragon warrior meant. He said, Brother Long, the Long family is one of the strongest forces in the Sky Martial Continent. I believe you know the rules better than me. This matter has already spread. Whether it is true or not, I believe the Long family will come to find you. Brother Long, you will be in big trouble. There was no need for Kwang-ao to remind him. Longao knew what it meant if the Long family found out that he had become a dragon warrior. Endless anger and killing, there was no doubt about it. Longao knew that the Long family would not care about anything. No matter what, the Long family was one of the strongest forces in the Sky Martial Continent. Even the 6 great sects in the Sky region could not resist the Long family. What a ruthless fifth-level Long family and Longing. However, Longao knew that Long Ming and Ho Long had already been killed by him. Even if he revealed that Long Ming was a dragon warrior, there would be no evidence. He believed that the Long family would not believe him. Since that was the case, there was no point in him saying anything. Brother Long, what do you plan to do next? Longao finally knew why Kwang-ao was looking for him. It was worth it to make friends with such a person. Chapter 122. Counter soldiers with arms, water with an earth weir. Brother Long, aren't you worried at all? Shrugging, Longao smiled and said, What's there to worry about? Don't worry, I'll be fine. Letting out a deep sigh, how could Kwang-ao not know Longao's character? Because of this, Kwang-ao didn't say anything more. After thinking for a while, he asked, Brother Long, I heard that you've already represented the Thunder Empire in the war? That's right, the war will officially start tomorrow. Brother Long, I won't say anything more. Be careful. Nodding, Longao and Kwang-ao chatted and drank. Unknowingly, the next day was already bright. Kwang-ao didn't leave the Thunder City, but found an inn to wait for the result. As for Longao, he entered the Imperial Palace, because today was the start of the war. The war was the biggest competition between the Fire Empire and the Thunder Empire. Both sides would use this opportunity to kill 20 people from the other side. The rules were the same as the Thunder Empire. Both sides would have 20 spirit tokens and kill each other. The side with the most spirit tokens would be the winner. The location of the war was a small forest specially built by the Thunder Empire. The area wasn't big, but it was more than enough for 40 people. No outsiders were allowed to watch the war, but 3 days later, the Thunder Empire would announce the result. For 3 whole years, the Fire Empire had been the winner, while the Thunder Empire had been defeated. Moreover, the Thunder Empire had been the loser 3 times, and all 20 of their members were killed. In the 3 wars, the Thunder Empire had lost a total of 60 Unification Realm warriors. To the Thunder Empire, this was undoubtedly a heavy loss. If this situation continued, the Thunder Empire would be in a passive position, and they would lose a lot of experts. It would be difficult for them to win against the Fire Empire. Fire Empire, Thunder Empire. The 40 participants from both sides all entered the Thunder battlefield and split up. 2 hours later, there would be a massacre to steal each other's spirit tokens. Goodbye, can't we let Longao go? No. This kid's talent and potential are very strong. I believe that in a few years, our empire will have another expert. Why do we have to do this? As the emperor of the Thunder Empire, Zhao Meng thought much more than Gu Bai, especially for a genius disciple like Longao. Gu Bai's face filled with killing intent. Your Majesty, I have to answer to the National Guard Hall. Even Emperor Zhao Meng had no choice but to accept the words National Guard Hall, even if he was extremely unhappy about it. Scarlet Fire Town. The current Crimson Fire Town was already an independent town that didn't belong to any city or kingdom. Even so, the surrounding towns, even big cities like the Thundercloud City, did not dare to provoke the Scarlet Fire Town. The reason was simple, because the Scarlet Fire Town had the Long family. Strictly speaking, it was because the Scarlet Fire Town had Longao. Long Yi's expression was extremely solemn as he said, Father, the Long family of Star Cloud City has already spread the news of Longao obtaining the dragon egg. This matter has already spread throughout the entire Tianzhou. I believe that not long after, the entire 9 provinces will know about it. At that time, it will definitely alarm the Long family of rank 3 and above. As Longao's father, Long Yi was very worried about his son's safety. The strength and background of a 3rd-rank Long clan was obvious. Not to mention that they were just a 6th-rank, 9th-rank clan. Even if they were a 4th-rank clan, once such a thing happened, they would suffer a disaster. Long Yi could imagine what kind of danger his son would be in if this news spread to the Long family above rank 3. Star Cloud City. Long Yi hated the Long family of Star Cloud City, but he was powerless. No matter what, with the current strength of the Long family, they were no match for the Long family of Star Cloud City. Long Haoshe waved his hand and said, You don't have to worry about this. I can tell you for sure that the Long family above rank 3 will not believe this. Father, why is that? Long Yi was very confused, but he would definitely choose to believe his father. It's very simple. The Long family above rank 3 will not believe that anyone can enter the Dragon Valley. According to legend, the entrance of the Dragon Valley in Tianwu continent is guarded by the rank 1 Long family. Not to mention others, even the disciples of the rank 2 and rank 3 Long family cannot enter casually. So that's how it is. Therefore, the Long family above rank 3 will not believe this at all. I'm just worried about what will happen to Ao now that the Long family of Star Cloud City is so shameless. Long Yi nodded in agreement and said, The Long family of Star Cloud City is a rank 5 Long family. If they want to deal with Ao will be in danger. Father, what should we do now? I've already thought about it. Ao's strong rise recently has offended too many people. If this continues, it will be very troublesome. After thinking for a while, Long Haoshe continued, Immediately send a message to Ao. No matter what happens, you must summon Ao back. Got it. Long Yi obviously knew the seriousness of the matter. He did not dare to be careless and immediately turned to leave. Thunder Royal Family, in a small forest behind the mountain. Long Ao's group of 20 had just entered the Thunder battlefield when they were immediately looked down upon and isolated. The Thunder Royal Family, Long Family, Jiang Family, and Duanmu Family, a total of 19 people, all distanced themselves from Long Ao and coldly looked at the youth in front of them. Fusion martial artist? Almost all 19 people knew about Long Ao's matters. But even so, in their eyes, Long Ao was not even a fart. This was not only in terms of strength, but also in terms of status. Both sides were not on the same level. Long Ao, who do you think you are? With just you, do you think we can rely on you? F***ck, humph, I was wondering why the royal family would choose a piece of trash to participate in the war between the two countries. Now I finally know that trash knows how to flatter. Admirable, admirable. Ha ha, flatter? You are all wrong. Flattering is actually a skill. Hearing everyone's mocking words, Longao only sneered and suddenly said, It doesn't matter if I am trash, but some people are even worse than trash. Otherwise, the Thunder Empire would have lost a total of 3 wars between the two countries. Sigh, I really feel bad for the Thunder Empire. I really want to ask, what's the point of the Thunder Empire raising trash like you? Among the 19 people, Firewolf, who had the highest strength and status, was enraged. He said furiously, Longao, who do you think you are? How dare you say that to us? Are you courting death? Courting death? Ha ha ha, Longao, you don't have to be like this. Do you mean that in this war between the two countries, you will live to be the final victor? Longao said confidently. That's right. I am stronger than some trash who are even worse than trash. So, in this war between the two countries, I will live to be the final victor. What if you can't do it? What if I can do it? Longao's face was filled with contempt, and his voice was filled with disdain. Chapter 123. Hearing Longao's words, everyone burst into laughter. It was as if they had heard the funniest joke in the world. Longao, let's make a bet. Do you dare? Hualang's face was full of ridicule. In his opinion, a fusion realm cultivator would be killed in a single move in this kind of battle. Borrowing a knife to kill. The 19 of them knew that no matter what, Longao was still the representative of the Thunder Empire. If they killed him, they would be letting down the Empire. It was because of this that Hualang thought of this move. Sure, but I'm afraid you won't dare. Alright, if you lose this battle between the two empires and come back alive, kneel in front of us and tell the world that you're trash. What if I win? You'll win? Waving his hand to stop the people behind him, Hualang said with a sinister smile. If you win, the 19 of us will also kneel in front of you and tell the world that we're trash. How about it? Deal. As an author, I hope that you can fulfill the bet at that time. Without even thinking, Longao had already agreed. He turned around and quickly left. In the blink of an eye, he had already disappeared without a trace. Boss, are we just going to let him go like this? Shut up. No matter what, he's still the representative of the Empire. We can't do it ourselves. But if the envoy of the Fire Empire kills him, it's none of our business. Boss, what if he… Before this person could finish, Hualang's body emitted a cold aura that suppressed the sky, scaring this person into shutting up immediately. A mere fusion realm cultivator thinks he's invincible just because he's a little lucky. I want to see how he can defeat the envoy of the Fire Empire. After leaving, Longao didn't take this matter to heart. In his opinion, the 19 of them were just stones. Although they were blocking his path, it wasn't a big deal. Actually, in Longao's heart, he did not hate the 19 people very much. No matter what, the 19 people were not so shameless as to join hands to deal with him. Just based on this point alone, the 19 people were still considered qualified warriors. Thunder Battlefield. The Thunder Empire's battlefield wasn't very large. It was because of this that Longao met the emissaries of the Flame Empire. He didn't know if he was lucky or not, but the first person he met was Ice Spirit, who ranked in the top 5 among the 20 emissaries of the Flame Empire. She was a warrior at the Unification Realm and ranked 20th on the 100 battle ranking list in Tianzhou. The war between the two countries. The Fire Empire and the Thunder Empire had made it clear that once they entered the battlefield, they had to scatter and not engage in a chaotic battle. The 40 people from the Fire Empire and Thunder Empire who were participating in the battle of the two empires were all Unification Realm martial artists. Due to the arrogance of experts, everyone was scattered. Even if they met, they would not fight with more people. Longao was very satisfied with the agreement between the two countries and the pride of the cultivators. Longao? Longao? Longao was surprised when he heard the other party call out his name. However, after giving it some thought, he understood. After all, before entering the battlefield, both sides must have learned about the other side's 20 members. Even he was no exception. Bing Pe, the super genius of the Bing family of the Fire Empire, had reached the unification realm at the age of 28 and was ranked 20th on the 100 battle ranking in Tianzhou. Longao had never figured out the 100 battle ranking. The 100 battle ranking. There were 900 battle rankings in the Tianwu continent. Every province had 100 battle ranking. Young martial artists under the age of 40 could enter the 100 battle ranking. However, those who entered the 100 battle ranking were all talented people. Bing Pe was only a disciple of the Bing family of the Fire Empire, but she could be ranked 20th on the 100 battle ranking. What about the disciples of the Sixth Sex? Longao knew very well that the Sixth Sex were above the two empires. He believed that the disciples of the Sixth Sex were far stronger than those of the two empires and countless kingdoms. In that case, why were there no disciples of the Sixth Sex on the 100 battle ranking? In the end, Longao finally knew that the disciples of the Sixth Sex did not participate in the 100 battle ranking at all. The Sixth Sex were the supreme existence in the Tianzhou. There were many talented disciples in the Sixth Sex, and the cultivation resources they received were far more than those of the secular world. Therefore, the disciples of the Sixth Sex did not pursue the 100 battle ranking, but another ranking, the Fengnian list. There were 900 battle rankings in the 9 prefectures. There were also 900 battle rankings in the 9 prefectures. The Fengnian list was the same as the 100 battle ranking, but there were some differences. The disciples of the Sixth Sex could not pursue the 100 battle ranking, but everyone could pursue the Fengnian list, even the secular disciples. That was to say, if someone entered the top 10 of the 100 battle ranking, he would automatically enter the Fengnian list. Once a secular disciple entered the Fengnian list, he would immediately become the target of the Sixth Sex. Are you Bing Pe, a disciple of the Bing family of the Fire Empire? Longao had a general understanding of the 20 emissaries of the Flame Empire, especially 2 of them. Ice Spirit was one of them. She was only 28 years old, but she was already in the top 20 of the 100 battle ranking. Longao, the top genius of the Red Fire Town 10 years ago, failed to break through the realm and was reduced from a genius to a waste. For 10 years, he was ridiculed, and looked down upon, but he still persisted and did not give up. For some unknown reason, he suddenly rose and attacked aggressively. Longao, I really want to know, why did you suddenly succeed after 10 years of failure? Ice Spirit was not very beautiful. From a distance, she looked like a man with a crew cut and a tall and burly figure. You don't need to care about my business. If you want to fight, we will fight. If not, you can leave. It was undeniable that Longao was really domineering. Even if his opponent was a warrior of the consolidation realm, a figure in the top 20 of the 100 battle ranking, he was still fearless. Nodding with appreciation, Ice Spirit said coldly, You and I have different masters. Since we have chosen to represent our respective empires, we will fight. But Longao, if I win, I want to be friends with you. But if you win, you can not only replace my position in the 100 battle ranking, but also choose to be friends with me. Longao was very surprised by Ice Spirit's words. What an interesting woman. Because of this, Longao had a good impression of this genius woman in front of him. Nodding, Longao said, You and I will fight. No matter who wins or loses, I will definitely be friends with you. Please. Both Ice Spirit and Longao belonged to the ranks of real warriors. No matter how much appreciation they had for each other, once the fight started, their fighting intent instantly spread out. In midair, they fiercely collided with each other. Sparks flew in all directions. Longao, in order to avoid hurting each other, let's fight barehanded. What do you think? No problem. In this way, the two stared at each other. In the next second, their bodies moved at the same time. Their speed was incomparably fast. In the blink of an eye, the two were already fighting. In the blink of an eye, they had already fought for 3 rounds. There was no clear winner. You're tuning into the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.